officials for today's game who are all volunteering their time. For the 1 o'clock game, the center judge, Gavin Anderson from Bonnie Lake. Our umpire, Eric Weisberg from Issaquah. Our head linesman, Jason Chaps from Puyallup. Our line judge, Bob Polo from Kirkland. Our field judge, James Kennedy from Green Bay. Our side judge, Mike Crawford from Columbus, Ohio. Our deep judge is Andy Dillon from Renton. And our back judge, Chris Story from Federal Way. They all organized for our head referee for both the 1 o'clock and the 5 o'clock games, and he has officiated all 5, along with many of his other officials, Cleats versus Cancers. Big thank you from Marysville to Jeff Sidoris. Today's national anthem will be sung by Ruth Nicholson. Ruth is an internationally certified facilitator and mediator. She offers practical resources to help youth sports organizations be more effective, including USA Football. Her work has supported sports enthusiasts in North America, Africa, Asia, Australia, Europe, and South America. In 2018, Ruth was a finalist for the Youth Soccer Innovator of the Year. In 2020, she was inducted into the International Facilitators Hall of Fame. Ruth has also been a caregiver for women in her family who've been lost to melanoma, ovarian, stomach, and colon cancer, as well as others who have successfully conquered breast and cervical cancer. We ask now that you please rise and move your hats for today's national anthem. Ruth Nicholson. Now we ask the captains go to midfield for the coin toss, along with former Washington State University wide receiver and Seattle Seahawk legend, who also, like Derek Sparks, wore number 5 on this, the 5th anniversary of Cleats versus Cancer, Michael Bumpus, Jessica Sparks and the Sparks family, and our team captain for today's coin flip.
Good afternoon and welcome to Pop KEENEY Stadium here in Bothell, Washington, home of the North Shore School District, Bothell, Woodinville, Inglemoor, and North Creek High Schools. And it is time for the 5th annual Cleats versus Cancer football game. Didn't want to interrupt the mood there for a moment as the teams for the first game today, first of 2 games, are meeting out on the field right now. And there we go. Jeff Sidoris, the official for today's game wearing the white hat, making the announcements there right now. The North team will be considered the home team for this game. They are wearing the dark uniforms. The South roster wearing the white uniforms. Ian Furness, one of the voices for KJR Radio, doing the public address announcing, and we are just about ready for action here. A game that has so many different meanings to so many different people. Here we go, Todd Helvig there on the air for a moment. There we go. So we have a football game here that means so much to so many different people. This is a game that is used both as a showcase for a number of class of 2023 football players. Those would be the seniors. Many of these young men still looking for colleges. Some of them have offers, some of them do not. Some of them perhaps trying to get on the radar of coaches that maybe haven't seen them yet. A lot of college coaches in the stands here, assistants and head coaches. Also, though, more importantly, a chance to raise awareness and funds for cancer. This is a game that was started, for those that don't know, back in 2018. Derek Sparks, long-time football name in this community, played college football at Washington State University, was an assistant coach at Pacific Lutheran, head coach at Garfield, so many other places too. Derek's daughter, Azalea, was diagnosed with cancer back in 2018, and therefore Derek decided to start this game as a way to raise awareness for cancer and also to help out young athletes who are trying to get scholarships. There is a silver lining to the story. Zaylee doing much better. She, in fact, is here. Had a chance to talk to her earlier. Very vibrant, energetic young lady who seems to be doing very well. Unfortunately, for those that don't know, Derek was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer about a year and a half ago and passed away in November of 2021. So this game still lives on. His wife, Jessica, his family members, and so many other members of the football community keeping this game alive and going as the teams are just about ready to line up. We're going to treat this like it's an all-star game. Obviously, it is a game that is competitive. The teams want to win. A lot of names are going to be shuffling in and out. We won't worry about starting lineups as much as just getting you information as to what's going on the field, as well as talking to a few different folks throughout the course of the afternoon. And joining me right now, who I think I got him for at least one quarter here for the first quarter, a gentleman who has been both busy today as well as busy just all around in general. Played football at Washington State University, wore the number 5, just like Derek Sparks did. And again, this is the 5th anniversary of this game. He was a longtime coach at Monroe High School. He can now be heard daily, Monday through Friday, on 710. And he's also very active in this game. Michael Bumpus joins us. Coach Bump, good to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Great day, beautiful day, right? The clouds are parted for us. We got the sun shining. These guys are out here playing some ball, man. I love it.
When you schedule a game in mid-January in the Pacific Northwest, you don't know what you're going to get, right?
No,
and we're pretty fortunate. By the way, we should point out a little bit of a modified kickoff here, if you will. And do you know much about this kickoff? Have you seen this before?
No, I think last year we did something similar to this. It's just, man, you don't want guys to get out here and risk injury. So if we can eliminate some part of that, then we do that. And that's what we did there. Just kick the ball off, line them up, let's get it.
Yeah, that was Troy Petz, by the way. He plays for Linden, 2-time state champion, by the way. He's also a state champ in the long jump. And is also listed as a wide receiver and a cornerback, and kicked that one right out of the end zone. So here we go. Teams are out there on the field, and again, we're noticing already, Bump, and this is always a play-by-play announcer's nightmare here. The number's not the easiest to read, if you will. We'll see what we can do here, and we get a pitch to start the game off. Again, this is the South team, and I believe that's a number 0 out there. We're starting to – the pink on pink is not that easy there. That's Omari Williams, running back for Kent Lake, who took that one. Actually, he's listed as a wide receiver. And in a game like this – you're going to see a little bit of everything. These are guys who they've played together for, 3 days now in practice. Everybody runs different variations at their schools and whatnot. What are we exactly looking for in a game like this?
You're just looking for big plays. I mean, you're going to see generic defense, probably a bit more generic offense, man. You just want to be clean as possible as we get a sack there to start the game off on second down, man. But clean football, generic, big plays is what you want to see.
And speaking of clean football, there's a clean defensive play right there. That's Damani Wright from Garfield, a defensive end. He's also listed as a quarterback, making the sack on the play. That's going to make for a very long third down coming up here. And we should point out, you are not just here to observe. You are very active. We just saw you on the field a few moments ago. So tell us a little bit about your role here.
No, I'm just here to make sure everything runs smoothly. You know, Jess hit me up and said, look, I still want you to be a part of this, and I have. She's done a lot of the work, but I'm here just to make sure everything runs smoothly. If there's any issues, you holler at me. I'm your guy.
So we're listed as a 3rd and 7 here. It was a short 2nd and 1 before that play, so a loss of 6. And the running back going through the wash there and actually barrels ahead for what might be close to a first down.
It's a nice big boy run right there, right up the gut. 4th and short. Let's see if they go for it here. I'm going for it if I'm them. I'm going for it.
Hey, you know what? All-Star game, what do you got to lose, right? Trying to tune into, again, to what Ian Furness was saying there. Didn't catch the name of the running back. We'll get those as we go along here. Again, pink on pink, a little bit tough. Certainly the North team is going to be a little easier for us with those darker numbers. But regardless, we're looking at a 4th and 1 right now. Looks like the number 15, Peyton Fakers, the quarterback out of Kennedy Catholic. Team that went to the state championship game this year and lost in the 4A state title to Lake Stevens. Looks over at the sidelines. Now there's a little confusion, and I think we just probably got ourselves a delay of game, did we not? Or are we going to get a full start?
If it is a delay of game, that's what happens when you throw 200 kids together and say, look, I know you don't play with each other often, but get out here and line up and play some football.
Well, and we've seen it, time and time again. We saw it in the NFL yesterday, right? Teams like the Miami Dolphins, professional team there. I know they've got a quarterback who's not used to being in there. We see these teams struggle to get plays in when they don't know and they don't have a lot of familiarity. I can only imagine what it's like in a game like this.
Yeah, chemistry is big, right? And I think that's what we're going to see to start this game. I said clean football, right? But I think that initially guys are going to get back into the groove, feel each other out. And, that's evident right there with that delay game.
So the defense ready to go here again. And we should mention the North team coached by Charlie Canone, who is a longtime coach at Mount Si High School, just retired, I understand. I didn't even know that until about 2 days ago. I thought he was getting ready to go into year number 32, but I think he just announced it in the last couple of weeks.
The legend himself. We had I think we played each other 3 times when I was up there at Monroe.
I was just going to ask you about that. I know those two teams have seen each other from time to time. Got a player in motion there. They're going to try to run it up the middle and denied. The North defenders just stuffing up the run right up the middle. They're nowhere to go.
Yeah, you got to look at these big boys, man. I mean, this is football, right? It's all about the offensive line and defensive line. That's where you win these games so far. Pink defensive line doing a thing.
And I'll give a shout-out to Cody Petrin, one of the players on the North side. There were 3 or 4 of those guys there. He was the one that I was watching get a bunch of the attaboys as he came off the field there. So he's one of the guys that clogged up the middle there. And all of a sudden the North football team getting ready to bring their offense on for the first time. Charlie Canoon, I was talking to him on the field for a little bit here. You mentioned the legend himself, Mount Si High School, took his team to the semifinals back in 2019. And we'll get to his coaching staff here in just a moment. He was pointing out some things to me that I didn't really realize. Nice little coaching tree coming from up on the north side of the state at a college that if you're young, you may not even realize they were once a football powerhouse. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. As Jeff Sedaris, the official, going over there and having a quick word with Canoon. Charlie Canoon is a product of Western Washington University, the Vikings. And the Viking football team that I want to say it was about 8 or 9 years ago now, shut their football program down. He, along with a handful of the assistant coaches in this game, some of which have been head coaches, some were on his Mount Si staff, all went to high school together back in the day. And as we get our first offensive play from the north side there's a big boy tackle right there. That's number 13 from the south, Demetrius Teape, making the play there. He's from Graham Kapowson, and it looked as though that was Bryce Coy, the running back from Bothell, getting the carry. Yeah,
they make them big down there at GK, man, and a little split zone action right there, trying to loosen this defense up a little bit. Brady was my quarterback out of Eastside Catholic. He's back there, number 0, holding it down.
Brady, a good kid, too. I had a chance to speak with him real briefly before the game started here, and he looked like he was having a lot of fun. And speaking of Brady, a handoff there. And another nice defensive play. However, give a little credit to the running back there as well. That was number 46, Dane Macchio, running back from Chief South. Didn't see who the linebacker was that shot in there, but certainly slowed the action down for a quick moment.
Another zone look right there. 3rd and about 5 and 6, I'm going to say, look, take a shot right here. Why not? Open it up a little bit.
If you're coaching a game like this, are you more or less just kind of working with zone defenses and just making it real simple for the guys?
Pretty much, man. You keep it as simple as possible. Allow them to run around and just make plays. You got them thinking too much, and they're not having fun out here.
So we got a 3rd and 5 from the 32-yard line, first quarter. McKeer drops back, looks over the middle, has a man, and just threw it a little too far in front of him. Tell me about Macca here, the quarterback. You mentioned that you've coached him, so what kind of a quarterback are we looking at?
Oh, Brady, a smart kid, a poised kid, man. Things could be going down all around him. He stays poised, he's calm, and just really a competitor. I mean, when you go to Eastside Catholic, there are a lot of expectations over there for you, especially at the quarterback position. He's handled it well. 2-year starter there. Made it to the state championship against, what was the 3A? It was Eastside Catholic.
It was Yelm this year, yeah.
Yelm. Yeah.
2-year starter, and certainly knows how to play in big games. I've got to think that he's somebody that if you are a college coach, you've got to take that into account too, right? I mean, obviously, you want guys that aren't going to be too overwhelmed by the big lights, and he's certainly seen his moments already.
Oh yeah, he's poised, man. I think we're going to see a lot of that today.
And apparently there was a penalty on the play there, so 1st and 10 on the 22-yard line. Macca here's going to hand this one off, running it to the left side, cutting it back up into the middle, and tackled it down at the 7-yard line for a 15-yard gain. That's Dylan Rose from Mount Vernon High School up north.
Nice little zone lead right there. You got Brady in a split back look in that shotgun. Let's see what they do down here inside the 10-yard line.
So the coaching staff for the North getting it done right now. We mentioned that a lot of guys that were from that Western Washington coaching tree, one of which was Tom Bainter, who's the head coach at Bothell, longtime head coach and a legend in his own right. I guess Bainter and Canoon went to school together up at Western, and I asked Coach Canoon which kind of offense they were going to run today, and he said it's a lot of Bothell's offense, and I think Bainter must be implementing a lot of what he generally runs with the Cougars, a team that plays right here on this field.
Why not? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. Hand off there, speaking of which. Looks like that's Coy, Bainter's own running back from his own school there. Oh, no, that was – well, there's another Bothell kid right there, Amani Hopoi, getting the carry.
There's something about these Bothell kids, man. They're so disciplined. I was telling the defensive coordinator, Coach Jason Rimkus, that you know a Bothell kid when you get them. They look you in the eye, they shake your hand, they're disciplined, they play hard. I love me some Bothell Cougars. And
I'm not good with the timelines. It's always all over the place, but Amani's dad – Manasi Hopoi was a pretty darn good football player in his own right at the University of Washington. He was a linebacker, defensive end. And I believe he's still coaching at Cedar Park Christian, too. So certainly from a football family, and dad being a coach and having the pedigree there, I'm sure that doesn't hurt either. Spread offense here. Trips out to the right, and he's going to throw over to the left, a screen pass. There's Coy, the Bothell running back, and he's going to be brought down right around the 3-yard line.
Nice little 3-by-1 formation. Brady looks to the right, try to get the defense to bite right a little bit, goes backside to the screen. I like the play call, just didn't hit.
And in typical All-Star Game fashion, Bump, I finally looked at the defensive player's number. I thought, well, let's give him a shout-out. Then I looked down on the sheet. He's not on there. Number 40 out there on the program. We do have a 41, so it could have been him. Jabrain Richburg, maybe from Capital, maybe not. We got a 3rd and 5 from the 5-yard line. I'm guessing that's 3rd and goal. I don't see the first down markers. Handoff right up the middle, not much doing. And again, All-Star game. You going to let the kicker get an easy field goal here, or do you go for it?
I'm going for it, but you know what? You want your kicker to get some love too. So you know, you put 3 points on the board. But yeah, if I'm coaching it, we going.
Well, it looks like they have decided otherwise. Matthew Falk from Archbishop Murphy, just right up the way, and South Everett, he is out to kick the field goal here. So I thought maybe we would see number 16, Troy Petts, who got the kickoff duties. But again, you gotta rotate these guys in and out and give everybody some love at a game like this.
Yeah, everybody should touch the field in games like this. Everyone touches it.
Lines up for what should be a relatively easy field goal here. Looking at the rush, not much of one, and he puts it right through the uprights. And we've got our first score of the game. 8:06 to go here in the first quarter. It's the North 3, South 0. You're listening to STSPN. Out to the early 3-0 lead, both teams with 1 possession. And we were just talking about it off the air, Bump, just a moment ago. Todd Elvick, our producer, whose sons played at Glacier Peak High School once upon a time, we were kind of talking about the time of year in which this game is happening. Why is January an advantageous time for these kids, maybe more so than other times?
Yeah, it's tough once you start leaking. The closer you get to spring football, the tougher it's going to get. And also this time of the year, these college coaches are allowed to come out and actually recruit these kids and watch them play. So ideally, you don't want to do it in January, one of the coldest months of the year up here, but it allows these guys to get out here, get seen by these college coaches.
So the North team back out on the field with their defense. I did want to mention one of the coaches in particular, since Coach Canoon mentioned him to me here. It was Wayne Lewis, who was the defensive coordinator at Mount Si for him for many years, since he was giving me some of those good tidbits on the Western Washington defense back in the day. I guess Wayne Lewis, who was his defensive coordinator, all-time leading tackler at Western Washington University, and unless something changes in the near future, he's going to hold that record for a while. There's a fumble out of bounds, and no harm, no foul there as that one goes out before anybody can jump on it. So the South team will hold on to it, looking at a long second down coming up.
Nice little jet sweep right there. Trying to get your playmakers to football. That's what you do in these games, right? I think we're going to see some jet sweeps, some reverses. I hope we see some flea flickers. I want to see everything, man.
The kitchen sink, right?
Yes.
So your title is Director of Coaches, is that correct?
Director of Games.
Director of Games, okay.
Yep.
So as far as what that involves, obviously there's a lot of moving parts to an event like this. Somebody who's done events and entertainment for a long time, I'm looking around here and I see all these people going in different directions, and we'll get to that here in just a moment as we've got trips right on this play. Quarterback drops back to pass off the helmet of the defender and picked off by the defensive lineman.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Not quite like that, no. Oh, my goodness. That was number 75 for the North. Oh, they're going to say he dropped it. Okay.
Oh, big boy, you get your chance. You got to get your paws on it and take that thing to the house. We got players on the sideline asking for a review. Doesn't work that way.
not in this level. And Todd's looking at it right now on our computer screen here. Todd, does it look like he drops it, or could you see it? He says he dropped it indeed. I'm going to give this one a shot. Mdimilak Yusuf, the defensive lineman from Lake Washington, getting his name called out in the All-Star game. Almost had a nice interception. Almost had a Sam Hubbard moment, if you will, from for those that watched the Cincinnati-Baltimore football game yesterday. And we're going to get one of our first deep passes of the game. Both receiver and DB going up. They're going to say it's picked off.
High point that thing. We got flags. That's going to be a sideline warning probably. But way to go and get that thing. The DB became the receiver. He was in good phase. Tracked the ball, came down with it.
And that was Amani Hopoi. We've already called his name a couple times on offense. The football player from Bothell High School. We were talking about his dad a few moments ago, Manasi Hopoi. He gets the interception there, as the intended receiver on the play was Trayvon Silva from Franklin Pierce. Again, you get a lot of these opportunities, Bothell kids versus Franklin Pierce kids. So many guys that don't get a chance to see each other. I know that the football community is a lot smaller than it used to be, but certainly when we're talking about a couple of counties in between, these guys don't really know each other, do they?
No, they don't. They don't. And, I love that they share their decals with each other, too. I was walking down there and saw an Eastside Catholic decal on a black helmet. I go, that doesn't look right. What's going on there? But, no, this is what all-star games are for, man. You get to play with and against guys that you typically don't.
And from our standpoint, we finally get a chance to get a better look at these guys. We're on the 30-yard line, and they're finally to the closer side of the field for us. So the North team already with a 3-0 lead, bringing their offense back on for the second time today. McCallagher drops back to pass. He throws deep, and that one's going to fall incomplete about 50 yards downfield. We were talking about what kind of a player he is. Looks like he's got a little bit of a cannon there, too.
He's got a little zip to it right there. That play right there, that's just chemistry, Like if you've thrown to your receiver, Reyes is a receiver for Eastside Cap. He's throwing it to him. He's probably hitting him right there, but these are the things you got to work out. You got to work out these kinks.
Okay, so we're going to get another look at him one more time here, staying in the shotgun formation. And, of course, the one of the two Bothell running backs in again. That is Hopoi into block. He's going to throw down the seam there, incomplete. A little bit of a one-hopper there. That's number 11, Brendan Manzano from Bishop Blanchette, the intended receiver. 3rd and 10 coming up.
Actually wasn't too bad of a throw. I think he threw a low to try to keep him away from that safety right there. That's the quarterback trying to take care of his receiver.
Toughest thing to deal with as a player during or maybe toughest position during an all-star game. Obviously, I would think the quarterback-receiver connection, without having that chemistry, has got to be just as tough. How about for the players on the defensive side of the field?
Actually, I think the advantage is with the defense. You can go out there and just play football. You got to be on time on offense.
Just attack and go after the ball. Scramble here as McKay is going to take off running for it. Goes out of bounds. Right about at the 48-yard line, close to the first down here. Let's see where they spot him. Looks like he might be about a yard and a half short.
Showing his mobility right there. Going to be, 1 or 2 yards short on 4th down. I don't expect any punts today. I don't want to see any punts.
Now, if you're the punter, though, and you've committed to the game, you might want to.
That's true.
You might have something a little different to say, right?
Yeah.
And we were our producer Todd Elvick mentioning that we are doing this from outdoors today. A little bit different there. We got a nice cool breeze, but really for us, you got a sweatshirt on, so you're feeling good. But this is not bad. We're protected, but there's a little bit of a wind coming through here too right now, and that might be coming into our mics as we're going along here. So the play has been sent in. 3rd and 20 coming up. And Bump, I know we had you on the Prep Sports Weekly radio show last Monday to talk about it, but in a moment here I'm going to have you give us a little bit of the behind the scenes as to your involvement in this game and why this means so much to you to be a part of this. Here comes the 3rd and 20 play. McKeer takes the low snap. He's being rushed now, rolls out to his right, throws deep. Incomplete, bringing up a 4th and 20. You said you didn't want to see any punts. 4th and 20, you might go for the punt here, right?
Yeah. You probably should put it on the foot right here. 4th and 20, you're in your own territory there. Yeah, get rid of that thing.
So they're going to bring the punt team on right now. Talk a little bit about the origins of this game. And Derek Sparks, first of all, a friend of yours.
Yeah.
You obviously have the connection in so many ways. You both played at Washington State University. You both wore the number 5, but if I remember correctly, you really didn't know each other until after you were both through with Washington State, correct?
Yeah, I met Derek Sparks maybe 7-8 years ago when he was the head coach at Garfield High School. His headsets broke, and they were playing a game on Saturday, so he hit me up and goes, "Hey, man, help a cool guy out," and hooked me up with some headsets. So I let him use our headsets. But, no, this is my 4th year being involved with this game, and as director of games, I'm just here to make sure that everything runs smoothly. If you have any questions, the referees, the players, the coaches, Jess has entrusted me with this role, and it's an honor.
And that punt's going to sail out of bounds. That was number 23, Aiden Miller from Prairie. That was back to field, and unfortunately for Aiden, he's not going to get a chance. So the South team coming back onto the field for the 3rd time. And yeah, we were talking about it before you had a chance to come up here when you were still doing your pre-games on the field earlier. But obviously Derek passing away from pancreatic cancer about 14 months ago. Jess, his wife, and so many others have really stepped into those roles and really kind of taken the reins, haven't they?
Yeah, Jess told me one of the last things Derek said to her was you have to keep this game going. He cares so much about this, especially during the COVID year. We used to do showcases all across the state. This is Derek's baby, so it's nice to still see it thriving.
So the quarterback right now for the South is number 15. That's Peyton Faker, Kennedy Catholic, still in there. Looking for their first trip over across midfield in the game. They're going to try to do a pitch out to the left here, and that one's not going to go anywhere either. The North defense really stout right now as the running backs finding the going rough early.
Yeah, they're trying to attack that edge right there. You got some speedsters on offense right now. Why not get them the football? But you're right. Defense looking stout. Good open field tackles right there. I like what I see.
Yeah, so they've got to play this one off of the left hatch. 2nd and 11 coming up. Just a little under 5 minutes to go here. First quarter. North 3, South 0. 212 players. That was the last number I had participating in today's games. Yes, I said games. There's a 5 o'clock later on, which will also be broadcast right here on STSPN. And if anybody wants to come by, you certainly have time. There's a double reverse, and they're going to throw to the quarterback, and the ball is tipped away at the last moment. And a flag gets thrown right around the line of scrimmage. Not sure if we had too many guys downfield or what the situation was, but a little trickery there. Bump, you said you wanted to see it, and there we go.
I love it. You got a nice little double reverse right there. As soon as the receiver got the football, you see the quarterback leaking out the backfield. Good discipline by that defense to cover that thing up. But, yeah, more of that. I like it.
So Jeff Sedaris, the head official for this game, talking with some of his folks there. We'll get to the names of the officials here in just a moment, too. They certainly deserve to have those shout-outs, spending their time here today. First and foremost, I want to mention the umpire of the game today, Steve Landreau. You'll appreciate this, Bump. So Steve does a lot of basketball games around here as well. He's a Meadowdale alum. I'll give Steve a hard time here. I'm actually a friend of his. Not the youngest guy out there either, I might add. Steve also officiates high school and college basketball. He was up in Alaska Fairbanks a couple days ago refereeing a college basketball game and had a collision with a couple of players. He's got a cracked rib, and he's out there on the field right now umpiring this game with a cracked rib. I don't know that I'd want to be out there on a football field with a bunch of young guys if I'm, north of 55. We'll just put it at that for Steve. I got to give him credit for being out there today.
Oh, yeah, dedication to the game, man. No way he was missing this one.
So the penalty was on the South team. They're looking at a 3rd and 21 right now from the 16-yard line. Faker drops back to throw, looking deep. Down the field and incomplete. The ball was intended for number 5. That's Cade Jindra from Sumner High School. And we're going to be looking at a 4th and long.
Looks like the receiver stopped his route. Quarterback was expecting him to keep going. If he keeps going, he probably scores right there. A lot of space behind him.
Again, that's a one quarterback throwing to a receiver whom he's probably never played so much as a game of catch with up until about 48 hours ago, right?
Got to build it quick. Build that chemistry quickly. Let's see what they do right here, man. They're backed up. Going to put on the foot. What is it?
Well, looks like we've got the punt team out there. 4:30 to go on the clock. Again, trying to get some numbers here as we get a punt. A low kick almost was blocked there. I'm not sure if somebody got a piece of it or not. It does get the favorable roll. He's going to get about a 35, 36-yarder out of this as it rolls to the other side of the 50-yard line. So the North looking at good field position, looking to take over at their own 48 with 4:18 to go here in the first.
All right, let's see what the North can do. Haven't had too much success on offense so far. Looks like we got a new quarterback coming in, number 13. But, yeah, take more shots. I expect them to run the football to loosen up the defense a little bit.
And I think that was Dorian Thomas from Kentridge who was the kicker on the play there. Looks like we do, in fact, have another quarterback in. I'm sure we're going to see some rotations. Luke Elliott from Washington High School getting his first snaps of the game and doing it in a favorable position. And speaking of which, we're going to get a new running back there as well. And unfortunately for Dylan Rose from Mount Vernon, already called his name once on a defensive play, but this time he slips up there at the line of scrimmage. Wasn't able to quite get back. Loss of 1 on the play.
That turf monster, he lives. He's out there. Got him real quick. I think he was just got a little bit ahead of himself right there. We'll see if they give it to him again.
Yeah, that 12th man can be rough at times, right? Turf monster indeed jumps out there. It looks as though on this particular play, Elliott running over to the sideline to get the play, and therein lies another challenge, right? You're not used to signaling the plays in with your own players and your own coaches, and therefore run over there, talk to the coach real quick, get back out there, and ready to go. 3:26 to go, first quarter. Throw it into the flat here on the left side. That's the Blanchette wide receiver one more time. Manzano, we saw them try for him down the field during the last possession, came up a little bit short on the pass. This time he's able to catch and move a little bit and gets a gain of 3.
Nice little bubble screen right there. This is just as good as a run. You pick up 2 or 3 yards right there, get the defense going east and west, and see if they go back to that.
First down marker right around the 42-yard line. 2:57 to go. Nice crowd here. We're going to probably have even more folks, I would think, for the 5 o'clock game tonight, as these players from all up and down the Western Washington region, and in some cases in other areas as well. There's a ball down the field. Manzano once again. The catch is made. The first down is theirs as the ball pops. Oh, no, they're going to say it did pop out. Manzano did not hold on to it, and give credit to the DB on that play. That's number 23, Aiden Miller from Prairie.
Yeah, that's why you never give up on a play right there. Wide open with a little cross around, a little deep cross. DB breaks the ball up. I like to see it. Don't give up. Keep going.
Okay, this is the age-old question again at the All-Star game, to punt or not to punt. And, in fact, they are going to let the punter come onto the field here and boot one away. Matthew Falk, we saw him kick the field goal earlier. He's now back in punt formation. And, you know, it's interesting because nowadays we have so many of these kicking camps and academies and whatnot. As Falk kicks this ball into there, you still want to see these guys kick in real time too, though, right? And see what they can do when there's a crowd there. That ball goes through his hands at the 1-yard line and out of bounds. That was number 6 trying to field it there. That was Trayvon Silva from Franklin Pierce. I've got to think for those guys, too. I mean, if you are a coach, and sure, you can go to one of the academies and see the kid kick away when nobody's pressuring him, but you do kind of want to see what he can do 11 on 11 still.
Yeah, you want to see it live. You want to see how he handles the pressure. There's a a process that happens when you punt the football. People think it's easy. It's not that easy. You got a long snapper. You got to catch that thing. You got to put it on the foot, direct it away from the kicker right there. Yeah, you want to see it live.
And we should point out we are here at Pop KEENEY Stadium, and a pretty good punter in his own right back in the day. This was his home field. Johnny Hecker, longtime kicker for the Rams, Oregon State alum, was a quarterback and a punter for Bothell High School right here once upon a time. A little bit of I think it was a quarterback keeper that time for a couple yards.
Showed a little wiggle right there. Get 2 or 3 yards on first down. 2nd and 6. I like 2nd and 6.
It's 2nd and 6 better than 2nd and 11 and 2nd and 12, which is what we've seen already a few times from the South today. So positive yardage, trying to shorten the field up a little bit for themselves. As we're now using the binoculars to try to zoom in on those pink numbers. QB back, scrambling, getting chased. Rolling out to his right, finally going to keep it. Gets upfield, dives forward to the 29 for a gain of around 5 yards. And I should point out that that is Jay O'Neill from Federal Way, who's now playing quarterback.
Nice little scramble drill right there. Receivers were trying to get open, but QB tuck and ran that thing. Says, I'm going to get this myself. 3rd and short.
So see what he can do here. The scoreboard showing 6, but there we go. They changed it to 2. South looking to try to keep some momentum going here. Now, you were a highly touted player coming out of high school. Did you get a chance to play in any All-Star games?
Yeah, I played in the Cali-Florida Bowl. California versus Florida was a big game when I was growing up. I actually got invited to the Army All-American game, but I grew up just watching the Cali-Florida Bowl, so I went there. If I could do it again, I probably should have went to the Army All-American game.
Now, where was the California-Florida Bowl your senior year?
It was in California. It was in Moreno Valley.
So no big Rose Bowls or anything like that for you guys, huh?
No, nothing like that.
Hey, but still Florida, California, pretty cool experience there. Fake the pitch, throws it out into the left flat, incomplete as O'Neill looking for Williams from Kent Lake on the play. And that's going to bring up, once again, 4th down. This time, 4th and 2. What do you got to lose, right? You'd like to think that maybe these guys will – and, hey, quite frankly, for the players, getting a chance to come in a pressure situation and try to push the ball forward. Not a bad opportunity for them, right?
No, not at all. And you know what? I take it back. Punt the ball. You're backed up. The coach is coming out of me right now. Let's be responsible with this field position here.
Although I am seeing Dorian Thomas out there, and last time he was out there, he kicked the ball away, so I think we're going to see more of the same here. And, in fact, that is the case. It's number 12, Cody Petrin from Bothell, back there to field it. Calls for the fair catch at the 44, a 28-yard kick. So not a lot of offense so far. Plenty of defense. You got to think that, again, not only is it a chemistry thing right now, but these guys in some cases haven't put on the pads in 2 months, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. You know, unless you played in the state championship game, you've been without football for a while. So the bodies have to get back into it too, man. It's not easy just to come out here, strap the pads on, and play some ball.
Now, have you had a chance to go to any of the practices over either the last couple of days or in the past for this game?
I've been on the road. Last year I went to a couple, but, yeah, I was on the road.
As we get the handoff out to the left side here, that's Coy one more time. We do get a penalty marker thrown back near the line of scrimmage. You got to think that one's probably coming back. Coy, again, the tailback for Bothell High School, a first-team All-KingCo player. Got to head to the 47-yard line. If it stood, it would be a 10-yard gain. Unfortunately for him, it is coming back. It is a holding call.
Holding, you can call that every play in football, honestly. Kids out there grabbing each other right now.
Spoken like the skill position player that you were, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you talk to an O-lineman, they say that's not the case, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Once again, we're going to try this one more time with 4 seconds to go. The clock is ticking, so if they wanted to, they could let it run out. They're going to get the snap off just in time. Coy up the middle, lunges forward as he carries a linebacker with him. That was number 34 on the tackle. We got to get these guys some shout-outs where we can. Mason Taylor Wells from Enumclaw making the tackle. And that will end the first quarter. Are we losing you right now for a little bit?
Yeah, I'll see you in the third.
Going to get you in the third quarter. Michael Bumpus, always appreciate you.
I'll be back.
We'll talk to you again soon. Again, at the end of the first quarter, it's the North 3, the South 0. And welcome back to the Cleats versus Cancer game here from Pop KEENEY Stadium. Low scoring affair so far. The North leading the South by a score of 3-0 through the first quarter. And if you're just tuning in, the North team with the football right now. Each team, I think, with 4 possessions in the first quarter there. And I want to thank Michael Bumpus again for joining us. We were supposed to have Coach Keith Ross join us here from Sumner High School in a few minutes. He was going to come up here for the second quarter, so we'll keep our fingers crossed that he's on his way up here and get some more great insight. He is the director of coaches, both of them playing a very vital role in the organization of this game. Coach Ross, a longtime head coach at Sumner, and a lot of success. As a matter of fact, I see him walking across the field right now, so he might be up here shortly. Quarterback goes back to throw. Oh, fumbles the football, just flat out lost it. And it's going to go right into the hands of the South team. And that ball is recovered by number 34, Mason Taylor Wells. He was also the player who had the final tackle right before the end of the first quarter. Player out of Enumclaw, and it looked as though Luke Elliott, the quarterback, decided to take off running and stumbled a bit. The turf monster tripping him up, and it was one of those plays where I think he was trying to regain his balance, carrying the ball rather loosely with his one hand, and in the process just stumbled, and the ball came flopping out. And in that case, Mr. Taylor Wells just waiting for it. And now the South with the ball one more time, and there's a nice push forward, one of their best plays of the game so far. Jalen Davenport from Graham Kapowson High School, state champion back in 2021 for the Graham Kapowson 4A squad. And there's Coach Ross coming up here right now. 9-yard gain on the play, 2nd and 1 from the 34-yard line. This time it's going to go to the fullback. Lunges forward for a first down. Let's get a name on the player here in just a moment. Again, these jerseys are a little bit tough to read, and when you've got a situation like this where it is an all-star game, players are constantly shuffling in and out. That's Garrett Farmer. Matter of fact, I think Garrett Farmer is a guy that this guy that's putting on the headphones might know. He's from Sumner High School. Coach Keith Ross, the Sumner head coach, joining us right now. We'll talk to him here in just a moment as here comes the next play. Davenport one more time. And all of a sudden the South's got a little something going here. They've gone to 3 straight running plays, and it looks as though they've gained about 25 yards accumulated over those plays, including one of your guys there. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit about the young man we just saw carrying the football a minute ago.
Yeah, Garrett Farmer, he transferred to Sumner senior year. Ended up being a great player for us, linebacker, fullback, tight end, big physical kid, looking to go play next year somewhere, so this is a great opportunity for him.
And he's still out there playing fullback. He didn't get the carry that time. That was Davenport one more time.
Yeah, they battled off this year twice.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
okay, you guys played
GK and Sumner, so it's fun. One of the great things about this game is that the kids get to meet everybody that they've played against, and form some kind of friendship. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too, because again, this is a situation where, especially I noticed a lot of the South players, it looks as though they come from the same conferences, just a couple of conferences down there that you start to see time. And there's your guy again, Mr. Farmer, trying to get forward there, and unfortunately not much room to run with. Nice little tackle there by number 57, Alex Pite from Bishop Blanchette. But yeah, a lot of these guys, competitors during the season, but we were talking about this really briefly during the first quarter. The football community is a lot smaller than it used to be, isn't it? Social media, training academies, camps, and whatnot. These guys all kind of know each other these days.
Absolutely. They've played it with each other. They played basketball, baseball. They played 7-on-7s. They've worked out at the same academies. That's one of the neat things that's changed over the last 25 years now is kids, they all know each other, and they battle against each other, and then they're friends afterwards, which is a great atmosphere.
The way it should be. So we got a 1st and 10 from the 21 South. Still looking at a goose egg on that board, trying to get on the board for the first time. Quarterback drops back to pass into the end zone. It is a touchdown. Oh, no, they're going to – okay, we got the hands thrown up for a minute there like it was dropped. I see these guys celebrating, and I thought one of the officials waved it off, but apparently we got a touchdown there. That was Dorian Thomas, the tight end from Kent Ridge, catching the touchdown pass from Peyton Faker from Kennedy Catholic, and the South team going up for the first time today. 6-3 with 11:31 to go.
Yeah, Dorian played quarterback this year, his senior year for Kent Ridge, and we played them in the playoffs. He was quite an athlete to try to chase down and tackle, and now he's playing his natural position, tight end.
Well, and now it looks like he's also the holder, and I believe again, we were kind of joking about it earlier. These pink uniforms with pink numbers are tough, but I think he was the punter earlier too, so it looks like he's doing a little bit of everything today.
Yeah, he's quite an athlete. You know, he's heading down to Arizona next fall to play tight end.
I can imagine, and the kick is low. The snap was low, but give credit to the kicker there for getting it through, and it looks like that was number 29, Owen Peterson from Mount Rainier. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, it'll be the North's turn to try to answer. South 7, North 3. You're watching the Cleats versus Cancer game on STSPN. And welcome back, and for the first time, we are going to watch the South kickoff here, the modified kickoff system. And Coach, tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here.
Well, the first year we kicked off, and it just took so much time out of practice to work kickoff and kick return, and you know the chance that guys can get hurt on kickoff and kick return. So we wanted to do something so the kickers would still be involved in the game. So we're just doing kind of a kickoff on air, just so they can show their legs.
So that was Owen Peterson, who looked like he might have caught part of the tee on that one, and that was Bryce Coy who picked it up and ran. And are they timed because I still notice that the players are still picking it up and the returners anyway are still running with it. Are they getting something out of that as well?
No, not the first couple years. They were going to let them run for 3 seconds, but then we realized they were way down here in 3 seconds. So now it's just ceremonial. It's a kickoff. They get to catch it and show their burst, but then the ball goes back to the 30 for first down.
Now, we mentioned you are the director of coaches this year. However, in the past, you've actually been down on the sideline. Talk a little bit about how you got involved in this game back in 2018.
Yeah, Derek Sparks sent out a text to us, a big group of us, and said that his daughter had been diagnosed with cancer, and he was just wanted to get an all-star game going. It was late in the game, and we all said, let's do it. And that first year we were unorganized, but we made it work, and it's gotten better each year.
Man, incredible. Here comes a little bit of a double reverse in the throw, and a guy's wide open down the field, and he underthrew it, unfortunately. Ball is picked off. That is number 1, Kendrick Turner from Kentridge. And, Coach, you were getting a little excited there seeing that guy run down the field all by himself, as it looked as though number 14, D'Amico Bosley from Chief South, was running all by himself down there.
Yeah, one of the best things about this game is there's some great trick plays, and that should have been an obvious touchdown, and it was underthrown. So that's, the coaches always have some little tricks up their sleeve for this game, because it really, it's more of a fun game. It does, it's not life or death on Friday nights, so they're more apt to run some trick plays. Then that gets the kids excited. That should have been a touchdown, and now it's going the other way. So
now you've coached in this game 4 times, is that correct?
I think 4.
What's the craziest thing you've ever rolled out there when you've been coaching?
I don't know.
No fumble rooskies or anything like that?
The years I was the head coach, I just kind of let the coaches do their thing. So we've had there's some great coaches involved in this game, and it's fun to see them. It's a great fraternity of coaches.
Oh, indeed. So Jay O'Neill, the quarterback right now from Federal Way, and he's going to hand the ball off, and not finding much run to room. That's number 13, Demetrius Tayape from Graham Kapowski. I'm guessing you've seen him play once or twice.
Absolutely. It's fun to see those guys out there. And it's also fun for us coaches to see kids that we've read about or heard about that we get to meet finally and tell them that, we've heard they're great players. And this game's it's such a great event. I look forward to it every year.
Now, earlier I had a chance to talk about the North coaching staff a little bit and Charlie Canoon, but tell us a little bit about the South coaches. Coach Izzy, we haven't even mentioned his name yet from Federal Way.
He's everyone's favorite. Mm-hmm. He's the head coach over there, and we got coaches from a bunch of different staffs, which is great for us, fraternity of coaches. Like here we go. The guy didn't know he was even getting it.
No. miscommunication when you don't know each other. And that was Elliott, who I think he thought number 6, Trayvon Silva, was going to take the ball in a fumble recovery by Connor Tompkins Delicard from Bothell. A lot of Bothell guys here, and obviously, rightfully so. Coach Bainter on the sideline there, and his home field here. But yeah, so Coach Izzy from Federal Way, and who else do we have over there? Some of the other guys that
Yeah, we have a couple of his staff members. We have Enum Claw. We have Rainer Beach. Coach Sampson's over there. We got Kent Ridge head coach. We have Terrain Mack, which was great. You know, he played at the University of Miami, so it was great to meet him. Coach West has done it for years. Bogan, Tony Davis, legendary coach. So just some great coaches. Kent Nevin, head coach at Fife. And Kevin Thompson comes back each year, and he's a quarterback up in the Canadian Football League, so it's great to see him. Melvin Wells, I played against him in 1985.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he played for O'Day, and I played for Enumclaw. We played each other in the playoffs, so that's fun to see him every year and talk about that.
So I guess ultimately it all kind of starts with Coach Sparks and then kind of branches out from there in terms of who is and isn't here. We've got a handoff here from the North team, looking to get something going, down by 4, and nothing to be had there. We're waiting to see a number there. It looks like number 36 in on the tackle. That's Nakobe Romeo from Spanaway Lake.
I just met him because he has an Emerald Ridge helmet on, and I was like, did you play for Emerald Ridge? He's like, no, Spanaway Lake. But so, yeah, Coach Sparks, you know, one of his many great traits was, you know, his personality, his charismatic personality. So, he had so many coaches that were on board with him, and he networks so well with coaches. So that's why that we're all involved, and we look forward to it every year.
When you, and I'll ask you this question after the next play here, but I'll have you think about it right now. When you got that first text message from Derek back in 2018 telling you that he wanted to start this game, I want to know just how quickly that came about as the new quarterback in here, back to throw over the middle. Ball is complete. I believe that's Coy again. It is, number 6. And the quarterback who's back in the game now, it looks like it's Keither again from Eastside Catholic, so a little rotation of quarterbacks, if you will. You and I were talking about during the break a few moments ago. When you get a text from Derek Sparks, I'm guessing that carries some weight with it, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And when he said his daughter was diagnosed with cancer, we were just all devastated. And I think every single coach that he sent on that strand, I think there's 19 of us, we all said, we're in. What can we do to help? So it was great to see everyone, just jump in for a great cause.
And this was done relatively quickly, too. It wasn't like you guys did it in 6 or 7 months, right?
No, it was quick. And sometimes football coaches aren't the best at planning, I would think, because we had missed a lot of things that first game, but we made it work. And ever since then, it's just gotten better each year. And now Derek's wife, Jessica, has taken over with a group of her crew that runs this game, and they are very professional at it. It's great. We get 200 kids out here in an environment where they get to play football again, they get to meet each other, they get to play in front of coaches. It's a really great event.
Should point out on that last tackle, that was your guy again, Garrett Farmer. He really stuck the running back on that play. He can hit a little bit. 4th and 1, so they're going for it. Again, all-star game, why not? You're down by 4. You're already into the opponent's territory there, and the quarterback's going to keep it himself this time. And getting the yardage necessary is the kid that's played in a couple of state championship games. That's Brady Macaher right there from Eastside Catholic getting it done, and he needed 1. He got 12.
Yeah, a little great version. Everyone thought they were going to run a little dive inside, and quarterback pulls it. And
how much fun is it for you guys as coaches to be able to get together like this, too? Obviously, there's work that goes into this, but if I saw correctly, I was looking through the Twitter feed. Looks like you guys had a nice little dinner get-together in the last couple nights, too, with Coach Adams from Oregon. Is that correct?
Yes, that was great. Coach Adams offered to host all the coaches up at a place up in South Center, and he said they were just doing it to, say thank you to all the coaches that are involved, because if you look, there's probably at least 12, 15 coaches on each team times 4 teams. It's a busy 4 days, but it's worth it. And I think the coaches love to do this, and because, we don't get to see each other in person as much.
Sure.
So this has been great. I get to meet a lot of coaches. I got to meet the Linden coaches that, we played against 10, 12 years ago. And it's that's one of the best things. And then to get to see the kids.
And Macker here this time throwing out into that left flat again. That's Manzano, the wide receiver from Bishop Blanchette, who's becoming a favorite of his really quickly now. Maybe the third catch I think we've had him come up with here in the second quarter. So all of a sudden the North team on the move a little bit. I've got to think in a game like this, obviously in the early goings it probably favors the defense a lot more just because they don't have the cohesiveness. But do you start to see the offenses come together as the game progresses, generally speaking?
Yeah, usually there's some big plays. There's some pretty good offensive players, and, you know, they're going to get loose here or there. But you're right. You know, the game, 3 days of practice with new coaches and new players and new signals, new play calls. Sometimes the offensive struggle, you know, like the South struggled early on. And then usually some of the offensive players will break out with some big plays, exciting plays. But, yes, the defense has a little head start on them.
So, again, 4 years in a row you've coached this game. You're not coaching it this year. Is it tough for you? I mean, are you looking out there wishing you were out there right now, or are you kind of thinking, okay, this isn't so bad up here?
This is nice up here. But, you know, I went to the practices, all the practices, and I got the feeling that I was there coaching. You know, I was writing. I mean, I'm not obviously doing any coaching, but I love to go around and say hi to everyone and check out everyone and encourage. And I was in the locker room giving them a little encouragement. So I still get that feeling of being a coach, but it's nice just to be able to walk around and meet everyone and work with the college coaches that are here. You know, it's a great event for these kids that are still looking to go play colleges, go play in college. So there's quite a few, you know, D3 NAI type coaches here, some community college coaches, and you know, they're still looking to pick up kids.
Sure. Now, if I saw this correctly, the North teams were practicing right here at Pop KEENEY this week. South teams were down at your stadium?
Yeah, Sunset Stadium, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 quick days. One year we did it in 2 days. That wasn't enough time, but we had to make it work.
Sure. That was Coy with another carry, and Farmer once again, you know, the tackle. He seems to be everywhere right now. Talk a little bit about those practices. I mean, obviously, you've got guys, and we were talking about this with Bump a few minutes ago, guys that essentially haven't put on pads for 6 or 8 weeks in some cases. You're trying to get them ready for an actual game, and you've only got 3 days to do it. Is it just a lot of walkthroughs? Is there some contact just to get them acclimated again? What does that look like?
Mostly walkthrough and versus air, but there's got to be some full contact because they're going to show up today and have full contact. So you obviously, nice run.
Oh, there's Coy into the end zone. Touchdown North. Bryce Coy, he scored a few touchdowns here in the past. This is his home field, Pop KEENEY Stadium. And the Bothell Cougar right up the middle that time. Nice blocking, by the way, up front as well. And Coy goes right into the end zone. And for the second time today, the North team in the lead.
Yeah, that was a nice run. I've heard about that kid and read about him, and it's nice to see him. That was a nice run.
I'm looking out there right now, and it's always the unfortunate thing about these All-Star games to try to get the lineman mention. You don't always get to in the cases of some of these guys, but see a few numbers out there. We'll try to shout out some names. I see number 64, Lucas Freitas from Mount Si is out there right now playing one of the guard spots. He's playing the tackle spot right now.
There's 3 Mount Si kids out there right now. So.
And the kick is up, and the kick is good. I also see a number 70 out there. That's Jordan Yandella from Glacier Peak, right around here, not too far up the road. Number 68 is out there. That's Heath Ozeda, another one of Coach Canoon's kids. So way to get it done there. The North team taking the lead. The South team will have a chance to answer. 4:53 to go here in the half. We'll take a break. We'll be right back right here on STSPN. No, this is great. And we're back, and there's the kickoff right there. We already talked about this. I would call it a ceremonial kickoff, but really from the kicker standpoint, they're still trying to show off. And Coach Keith Ross from Sumner joining us here in the second quarter. And Coach, you and I were just talking about Troy Petz, the kicker there, already set to go to the University of Washington, and pretty good athlete.
Yeah, I talked with his coaches before the game, and they said he was, he's a great offensive and defensive player. He's a long jump state champ. They said he runs a 4.42. And I'm like, no wonder he's going to the UW to be a punter.
And that's the kind of guy too, or if you're getting him into punting situations later on down the road, can always run a fake with that kind of a guy, right?
Yes.
Got a little athleticism here as the South team looking to respond after giving up the lead there a moment ago, and that's not going to do it right there. Nicely done. Let's get a number to give a shout out there here as soon as he turns his side there a little bit. Those jerseys being rolled up in the front, Coach. I'm old school. I'm used to them being pulled down. I can never see those guys.
Yeah, is that Blanchette?
Looks like it might be number 57. Yep, that is Blanchett.
Yeah,
that's
that was
Hyatt,
a nice play.
And it looks as though the South going back to number 13 again at quarterback, which is, or maybe at 15 rather. That's Faker out there. Again, the revolving door quarterbacks taking place, and got a nice little 3-receiver set here. Perhaps we'll see a pass right now. 2nd and 13. The receiver going in motion. A little shuffle pass there out to the right, and the North team not fooled on that play. Ryder Weiss from Mount Si, cornerback, coming up to make the tackle. It looked like that was number 19, Micah Piper from Federal Way, who was the receiver on the play. Seeing that shuffle pass a lot more and more these days, too.
Yeah, that's the spread offense's version of our old toss sweep. So they're just flicking it out to a guy in motion to get that sweep action.
And the nice thing there is if you drop it, it's just an incomplete pass, right? Nobody has to worry about the turnover there. Faker looking across the middle. Gets wrapped up for a moment, and he's not going to be able to get out of it. Threw the ball, and I think they're going to call it incomplete. Thought for a moment there that they might say he was in the grasp. Pite from Blanchett back in on that play, as well as one or two others.
How big is that Blanchett kid?
They don't have sizes on
here. Oh, they don't. He looks big. He's good. That's 2 great plays he's made.
Yeah, he's playing that nose tackle spot right in the middle there, and he just seems to be barreling through each time. And we're going to get another punt here, and there again is Dorian Thomas, who seems to be doing a little bit of everything today. Oh, and speaking of which, he's going to fake the punt. And he's got open space here, but he's going to be brought down from behind 3 or 4 yards short of the first down. Was just getting ready to praise Thomas for what looked to be a first down, and out of nowhere came a defensive lineman who, again, I got to wait for him to turn around now to get his number so we can give him some love. It's the gentleman right in front of us here. And that looks like that's number 10 on the play, which would be Damani Wright from Garfield, the defensive end, who more or less came out of nowhere. I thought Thomas had enough room there for a moment. We talked about it earlier. Thomas playing quarterback this year at Kent Ridge. He's listed as a tight end. He's been the placeholder on field goals. He's been handling the punting responsibilities, and he has the only touchdown of the game so far for the South team and almost had a first down on a fake punt. Are we assuming that was a planned punt, Coach? Or
I don't think so. It looked like he felt a little rush and took off. I don't know if they'd call a fake punt on their own 25, but it is an all-star game.
You never know, right? It's Mason Taylor Wells, the running back from Enumclaw, who we've called his name a couple of times on defense already. Got the tackle there. Actually, on the North team, that was number 34 with a carry, but they don't have a 34 on the roster, so we can't give a shout-out there. Welcome to All-Star Football.
I don't recognize that helmet either.
Looks as though Dylan Ross, the running back from Mount Vernon, playing up near the line there, and there's a ball thrown out into the flat on the right side there. A little bubble screen for number 44, Ben Laframboise from Issaquah.
Garrett Farmer on the tackle.
There he is once again. Is Farmer just one of those kids that likes to hit?
Yeah, he's a lacrosse player and a linebacker fullback, and he's 6 foot 230. He's made just to smash into people, and he does that real well.
You mentioned he's a lacrosse player. Multi-sport athletes, or
Love them.
do you?
I can't get enough of them.
Tell me why.
It's just so good that they play in another competitive arena. They get coached by different people. The skills cross the boundaries. Anytime you can run and move directions. I love lacrosse because, you're running and you're cutting and you're moving directions, just what you need to do in football. So being a 3-sport athlete is pretty difficult nowadays, but I still love multiple sport kid athletes. We love basketball players. Sumner has a lot of baseball player, football crossovers. We encourage our kids to go out for other sports.
Well, and I was interviewing a high school student earlier this year who was a multi-sport athlete with soccer as being the other sport, and they were talking about being able to play in open spaces and how much that provides them with an advantage that others don't have. I had never even thought about that.
Yeah, soccer's great. I mean, you just run and change directions. We've had our kickers come from the soccer team, but I haven't had any players come from the soccer team. But some years we didn't have a kicker, and we'd look for the soccer player that we thought could handle it.
Sure.
And, they actually pick it up pretty quick. Our kicker for next year had never played football until this year, and he was a soccer player. So we're looking forward to that. He's got a strong leg.
No, definitely. That was McKeeler, by the way, the quarterback for Eastside Catholic back in the game. 128 and counting here, first half. 10-7 score, close game thus far.
Yeah, South needs to get a stop here.
Big time stop, yeah, to keep this within a 1-score game for the second half anyway. First and 10 coming up on the 25-yard line as McKeeler was able to get the first down on the last play. He's going to draw back to pass this time, throws it out into the flat there on the left side, and number 46, Dwayne Camacho from Chief South coming down with the catch.
And that the DB Dobbs from Enumclaw on the tackle there. And the last 3 days of practice, he was one of the kids that really stuck out to me. Is it Bo Dodds?
Bo Dodds, yeah, correct, yeah.
That kid is a great player. He's a great athlete. He's very physical. And, just watching practice, you kind of see who really pops off the screen, and he was one of them.
I was going to ask you about that, too. How much are you able to see at a practice like that, especially when, like you said, you're doing some contact, but it's minimal? Are you still able to see guys that will catch your eye? And
Absolutely. Friday night they did some contact stuff, and I got some texts from people about Farmer, like, oh my gosh, this kid is, super physical. Here comes Farmer again. Ooh, got him out of bounds.
And Farmer able to chase McKeeler out of bounds. However, McKeeler was able to move it ahead to the 12-yard line there, gain a 9 on the play, and they're going to move the chains. A first down with under a minute to go. And as you mentioned, the South trying to come up with a stop here and keep it within striking range here anyway before we go to the half. So I'm guessing that the last few days you were spending with the South team, correct? Or were you able to get to both practices? You're down there already.
A couple years ago I went to both practices, but I live right down there, so I was in charge of opening up the stadium, and I just hung out the whole time with them. So I got a good view of both teams.
And we'll ask you about the 5 o'clock game coming up here in just a moment as McKeeler looks across the middle. The pass is incomplete. For a brief moment, it looked like he might have an opportunity to complete that. That was to Spencer Blumenthal from Issaquah High School, and I believe that was number 35, was it, or 36, Romeo, the
26 or 36.
Or maybe that is a 26.
GK?
Yeah, I think it is a 26. Yeah, that's Caden Smith from, you're right, Graham Kapowski.
Yeah, I recognize that helmet. Those guys have made a lot of great plays.
Pink on pink, I guess you start to look for the helmets after a while. It works, right?
Yeah, these jerseys are hard to read.
Definitely, especially those road ones.
Yeah, it was nice to see that north side with the Anacortes coaches, the Anacortes head coach is the O coordinator, so I got to see him for a little bit.
So
he's sharp.
Do the two north teams and the two south teams practice together, I would assume?
Yeah, and we scrimmaged each other.
Hopoy, the Bothell running back, and he's going to get pushed out of bounds at the 5-yard line. His high school teammate, Coy, with the last touchdown for the north team, and now the other Cougar trying to get into the end zone, playing on his home field here.
So, yeah, it works out nice. Both teams practice on the same place, and then you get to come together and do a little bit of scrimmaging.
Now, is it truly is there a boundary set up as far as which kids are going to be on which teams? Do you try to keep kids together with their high school teammates? What do you look for when you're trying to separate those two teams?
Area and teams. We don't ever want to separate teammates. And then, we try to get the SPSL and the NPSL and all those South teams, on the same team. Once in a while there's a crossover just because of position. Ooh, little keeper here. Get him.
And unfortunately, oh no, he got out of him. McKiller's dancing around, and he's finally going to go down, but it's going to take 5 or 6 guys. Number 38.
Look at the coaches. They're all excited on the field. See, us coaches still get excited.
Absolutely.
Those aren't even our kids, and we still get excited about good plays.
Well, let me ask you this. When you look at that scoreboard, it's an all-star game. You guys still want to win, right?
Absolutely. I mean, one year I got beat bad, and I went home and felt bad for a week. And my wife's like, come on, it's an all-star game. And I said, yeah, but we're still competitive, and we want our teams to play well and the kids to have fun.
Yeah,
Look at their field goal here.
It was Elijah Stafford McNutt from Auburn Mountain View who will give credit for the tackle on that play, amongst other guys as well. And it looks as though Matthew Falk from Archbishop Murphy, who's already got 1 field goal today, getting a chance for another one. Now, we've seen Falk. We've also seen Petts, who, like you mentioned,
Yes.
he's going to the University of Washington. And the one thing we really haven't talked about yet is Falk puts this one up and through. We'll keep it here if that's okay with Todd, and we will. So Falk gets his 2nd field goal. A lot of kids are using this game as a showcase, right? We've got coaches in the stands. Obviously, coaches are going to watch the film. Some of the guys have thrown the fence. As a coach, I've got to think you recognize that too, right? As you're coaching these guys, do you kind of take into consideration, okay, maybe this kid needs a little more of a visual for these guys to see, and maybe I'll give him a few extra carries just to help his cause out a little bit, or is that something you don't even really think about come game time?
Yeah, because you talk with the college coaches prior, and they come with, they're watching everybody, but they come with a short list of kids that they've had contact with, and so the first thing they ask us is, how did they look? Are they as tall as they thought? Are they fast as they thought? Are they OD? So of course we're going to try to, that's what Derek started this game for.
Mm-hmm.
This game was to showcase smaller college kids because Derek was a D3 coach.
Right.
And so, Dorian Thomas is maybe one of the biggest names we've ever had in this game. We don't have very many Pac-12 players come to this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, this game is made for lower-level college kids, and so we obviously want to showcase their talent for the coaches.
100%. Well, we got 33 seconds to go. It is a 13-7 game.
There's Jindra from Sumner. Oof.
And speaking of which, he gets the catch, and Jindra gets the first down. That's still number 4, Jay O'Neill, the quarterback from Federal Way, and they're slinging the ball around. Always kind of nice to see one of your own guys out there.
Yeah, and it's funny because Jindra played mostly defensive back for us, and now he's just playing offense here.
Strictly offense,
Yes,
okay.
Yeah. And somebody said, you're not playing D? He's like, no, I wanted to play slot. So that was fun for him. He's one of those great high school players that's not going to go on and play, but really wanted to, have one last game.
Good for him. What I was going to ask you about that, too, is Elliott drops back to pass. 24 seconds to go now in the half. Scrambling, looking down the field. And speaking of Mr. Dorian Thomas, there's another catch for the tight end on his way to Arizona.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's trying to sell it, though. He's trying to show the officials there that, hey, I stepped right on the
Nope.
on the inbound line. They're going to say no. We should mention, too, I started to do this earlier and didn't get around to it. We've already mentioned Jeff Sedaris' name a few times, the referee. Steve Landreau, the umpire today. We've got Andy Miller as the center judge. Jason Capps from Puyallup is the head linesman. We'll get the rest of the guys here in just a minute. Rob Quello from Kirkland is the line judge. As Elliott dropping back to pass one more time, he's going to flip this one out into the right side there, and looking to run up the field is number 31, Emmett Otero from Enumclaw. Guessing that's a name you probably know a little bit, is the nice too. It's not just a showcase, and this is a team that's down by 6 right now. Perhaps a chance to take the lead here with 1 second to go.
Yeah, they were fired up there in that first quarter. The offense in the South wasn't doing very good, and I was walking up and down harassing them a little bit. Like, you guys better get going. Don't be embarrassing.
Talk a little bit about the venue here too, Pop
Oh
KEENEY.
my gosh, love this place. We had it at French Field for years until last year, and then Coach Bainter said, let's do it up here. And it's one of the greatest venues in the state, if not the best pure football stadium in the state. Here they go.
Here we go. Elliott dropping back to pass. No time left on the clock.
Thomas.
Thomas right there in the middle, and the ball is batted away. And you called it. You got a guy like Dorian Thomas, a D1 recruit, a tight end. You might as well throw to him. And that is the end of the first half. 13-7 is our score. The North in the lead. Keith Ross, Sumner High School. Thanks for your time up here.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
I had
you.
a great time. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you for swinging by, and thank you for everything you're doing. We're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll get you ready for the second half right after this.
Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, if you want to come up with the
the right side is brought down at their
Player of the game, senior libero Lauren Riskill has control.
Championship district tournaments, we have it here on STSPN.
You have to be a good individual first before you can be a good team player. I know for a fact how bad Hell Week is. I went through it a couple times. It's probably the most brutal military training anybody can go through. So everybody to my left and everybody to my right, they've been through this. So I know mentally, you know, these individuals are extremely hard. And when stuff gets bad and, you know, in any situation, I know these guys have my back.
SWCC is an acronym, and it stands for Special Warfare Combatant Craft Crewman.
You know, you can stand across from the guy and say, you know what, he's got your back, and, you know, that's the guy you're counting on. If something goes wrong, he's going to be there.
In the end, we're fighting for each other.
This is Witch Doctor requesting immediate hot extract. Take it on.
Here on a team, you know, about 22 of us on the boat. You know them personally, so you know exactly whose life you have in your hands.
Everyone's come together, and everyone's sole mission is to do their job individually as best they can to benefit everyone else on the boats.
I got a brotherhood, and it's a real brotherhood, and it's a loyal and honest brotherhood, and that's what matters.
And welcome back to KEENEY Stadium here in Bothell, Washington. It is the 2023 Cleats versus Cancer game, game one of a two-game doubleheader. Halftime score, the North team leading the South 13-7. I'm Steve Willits, Todd Elvick, and Sarah Elvick helping to my right to set everything up and to get us on the air. And joining us once again, who spent the first quarter up here with us, he's running around doing a little bit of everything today. That's just kind of who he is anyway. He's doing he's got his hands in so many different things these days. He's a busy guy. Michael Bumpus joining us once again. And Bump, I did want to ask you about the halftime ceremony. We didn't broadcast it, but can you kind of let us know a little bit about as to what was going on out there?
Yeah, so one, it was a tribute to Derek Sparks, man, the guy who created this deal in honor of his daughter who had cancer and beat cancer. And then it was recipients for a grant. So we had one recipient who sold the most tickets. He got a grant, and then just families who were affected by cancer. Everyone in this game has been affected by cancer in some type of way. So it's just honoring some families, and then again, just honoring Derek Sparks. So a bunch of honoring at halftime. It was a good deal.
And absolutely. And we should point out, and again, this is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart, having lost a parent to cancer not too long ago. There is a portion of the program here, and if anybody's coming to the game at 5 o'clock, I seriously encourage you to pick up one of the programs. A lot of cancer stories in here, and wish I had more time to read these on the air. We don't, but I mean, so many of these kids at such a young age, too, have been impacted, and it's parents, it's grandparents, it's other family members who have either survived cancer or who they've lost to cancer. And, of course, obviously it really hits home to this event after losing Derek Sparks back in the late 2021. Kind of nice to see an event where you can engage young people, high school athletes, and let them experience something that's bigger than the game itself, too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great, man. Football brings everyone together, but then you provide or you combine football with cancer and just the message and the motive. It's a beautiful thing, man, and you're right. There's so many stories in this program right now about guys who've been affected by cancer. Everyone here has probably been affected by cancer somehow, some way. So you bring these guys together, play some football, man. You put them in some pink and show love, and it's been a great deal so far.
And we do also want to mention, if anybody is not able to come to the game, you can certainly do your part still. Go to Coaches versus Cancer, and that's VS. So, Coaches versus Cancer, or Cleats, my bad. Cleats versus Cancer, CleatsVSCancer.com, and there is a donate button on the home page there. So if you'd like to make a donation, all the funds going towards their cancer foundation here, raising money for various types of cancer, and love to have you engage in that way if you're not able to get to the game, as we are ready to go here for the second half. North up 13-7, and they're going to start off by running the ball, and this time the South is ready for it. Down by 6, they need to get that ball back, and certainly Mr. Hapoy, the running back, finding the going rough there on the first play.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of juice out there. These guys seem like they're bouncing around a little bit, nice and warm. They got all the jitters out. Second half underway. You open it up with a nice run to the right side, a little zone action there. And
it looked as though during the second quarter, things started to gel together for really both sides of the football. And I've got to think a lot of that, and as you and I talked during the first quarter, some of these guys haven't put the uniform and the pads on in a while. But also you start to get a little more familiarity with the guys you're on the field with, right?
Yeah, you got some snaps together now instead of just practicing, man. It's not like the real thing.
And the real thing here this time calls for a run up the middle and a little bit of space. However, it closes quickly as Dylan Rose is going to get the carry there, and he's going to lunge forward for a few anyway. Going to bring up a 3rd and 6 coming up here next.
3rd and 6. I expect some play action here. See if they open it up a little bit.
And the deep ball hasn't worked out very well for the most part yet today. We've seen a lot of screens, a lot of bubble screens, plays into the flat. And, again, that just kind of comes back to the good old-fashioned chemistry between wide receiver and quarterback. But then again, I mean, at some point, these quarterbacks, they're kind of itching to throw the ball downfield when you come to a game like this, aren't you?
Yeah, you would assume this game will open up like an NBA All-Star game in the 4th quarter where guys start going nuts.
And I believe that's Luke Elliott playing quarterback right now from Washington High School. Drops back. Tries to skid away from the defender, and he cannot. Down he goes, as it looks as though that might be number 55 out there. It is. Ezekiel Sumalo from Kentwood High School. They actually read the name Watkins just now. I've got 55 in my program as being Sumalo. Actually, that's correct, too. They read Watkins on the PA. Watkins, however, is on the North roster. He's on the team with the football right now. So the sack going to the defensive tackle out of Kentwood, and that's going to bring up a 4th and long.
Yeah, 3 and out. Nice stand by this defense to start the second half. See if we get a good return right here.
And on to punt there is number 1, and that is Matthew Falk. He's already put a couple of field goals through the uprights. It's a little bit of a running start on this one. Not a lot of height. However, he is going to get the bounce. And the ball's going to be covered there at the 40, a 36-yard kick on the play. Maybe not what he was looking to accomplish there, both in terms of hang time and distance for that matter.
I actually spoke to him right before I came up here. I said, rugby style, huh? He goes, yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I go, all right, well, let me see both. Let me see a traditional punt. Let me see a rugby. So he's got 1 out of 2 so far.
Okay, so you gave him some tips there, and he was listening. So so now we're expecting Mr. Falk to just kick away next time then, as he did in fact do a rugby kick. And we're seeing more rugby-style kicks these days, aren't we?
Yeah. As a returner, it's tough, man. It allows the cover team to get down there a lot quicker.
And some nice defense there, and I guess I should say some nice offense too, as the fullback doing a nice job of carrying a few guys on his back. That was number 31 on the carry. Emmett Otero from Enumclaw. Looked as though Emerson Wilson, defensive end from Burlington Edison, in on the tackle, as was number 73, Ethan Four from North Mason.
I think Enumclaw might have the most fans here. During halftime, a recipient was from Enumclaw, and they got real loud in here. I see you, Enumclaw.
Well, they've got the most fans, and I think a lot of it has to do with they've got quite a few players on here, too. I'm just trying to do a quick little count, and we were even talking about that with Coach Roster in the second quarter. It looks as though, just scanning the roster, at least a half dozen guys from Enumclaw, and he mentioned they had a really good season this year. So, yeah, they're coming out and supporting their guys, and we like to see that. Luke Elliott, the quarterback, once again, and this time he's going to keep it himself. Or Jay O'Neill, I'm sorry, that was Jay O'Neill that time from Federal Way.
I actually see some progression here. We saw that jet sweep type of look. Like they gave it to him in the first half, and now they run that jet sweep. You fake it to him. Quarterback keeps it. I see you over there, Coach. Put these plays together.
Coach is getting a little creative there.
Yeah.
That's Coach Izzy and his staff over there from Federal Way. He's from Federal Way. A lot of his coaches are not. He's got a little bit of everything in his assistant cupboard there, whereas the North squad, it's a lot of Mount Si with Coach Canoon and his guys.
Coach Izzy was actually one of my hosts.
I was just going to ask you about that. That's right.
Yep. We go way back.
So he was a player there when you were in high school.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you ended up going there, so he must have done something right.
He showed me a great time. That's for sure.
Now, what was Coach Izzy as a player? What position would?
He was a DB. He was a DB, and him and Carl Payman, who got drafted 3rd round, used to go at it at practice all the time.
O'Neal back to pass. This time he's going to let it go. Dorian Thomas, the tight end that's on his way to Arizona, and he can't quite come up with it as the defender was all over him there. Nice coverage down the field. We're trying to get a number there again. And again, with these uniforms and the way they're rolled up in the front there, sometimes until the guy turns around, it's hard to see who's who. That is number 81 on the defensive side of things, Ryder Weiss from Mount Si.
Mount Si, Coach Canoon on that sideline over there, the legend. Mount Si, man, great football program, disciplined football team, one of the best settings in Washington High School, honestly.
That's what I've heard.
Stadium is nice.
Now, you said you've gone against him 3 times,
yeah.
So I'm taking it a couple times there? Or?
Yeah, twice in Monroe, once Mount Si.
Do I dare ask? What was the record?
Hey, 2-1, baby.
Oh, you got 2? Okay, there we go. Fakes the sweep. He's going to keep it himself. And number 4, Jay O'Neill, once again, going right up the middle, picking up some yardage. Keeping that defense on their toes and moving the ball all at the same time. There is the South team trailing by 6, looking to try to drive this one down and retake the lead here in the 3rd quarter. They've had the lead 1 time during the game.
QB showing that mobility, getting up the A gap. 3rd and 5.
And Jalen Davenport from Graham Kapowski, not a bad guy to have in your backfield there. Davenport gets the carry off right tackle, finally brought down at the 35-yard line, a gain of 5, and that's going to be close to the first down marker. Might be just a little bit short. And we're going to get a 3rd and looks like less than a yard coming up here next. Players shuffling in and out. It looks like we might even have a quarterback change right now.
All right.
As Peyton Faker from Kennedy Catholic coming back into the game.
Love to see it, man. Get everybody on the field.
I formation, too. Here we go. We've got Farmer blocking for Davenport this time. And they give the ball to Davenport right up the middle, and he just uses his brute force as well as a little quickness and gets ahead forward for 8 yards.
Nice downhill run. DJ Dallas is actually here from the Seahawks. He'd appreciate that run.
DJ Dallas came out to the game, huh?
Yeah.
No kidding. Well, this definitely brings out the who's who in the football community, doesn't it? It's kind of fun that way.
It does, and you know what? And I think next year it'll be even bigger. This thing has really grown over the past 4 years.
212 players, as we mentioned earlier, in 2 games, second year in a row, correct?
Yep.
This time Farmer gets the carry. Coach Ross was pretty excited about him earlier when he was up here as Sumner running back, or Sumner linebacker for that matter too. And they're going to say forward progress was stopped, so the big fella who seems to be all over the field, and if he's not leading the game in tackles, he's awfully close to it. This time he gets to carry the rock.
Playing some big boy football now, man. You're getting that I formation, lead with the fullback, get downhill. I feel a play action coming on, though.
See if Coach Bumpus calls it. Look at that. He's done this once or twice, and that ball is thrown a bit high as Dorian Thomas was the intended receiver.
Doing my Tony Romo, man. You know?
You nailed it.
Wish I got paid like him, though.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of which, how are you enjoying the other side of things these days?
It's good, man. It was tough making that transition because you got to be critical of players, and I'm a players guy. But no, it's fun. I can't complain.
Well, and especially since you're not exactly being critical of the high school and college students. It's the pros, and you got to walk by those guys every once in a while.
Exactly.
Davenport trying to kick that one out to the right. Doesn't find much room. And he's going to be tackled after a gain of about 2 or 3 yards there.
Coach Izzy, man, he's calling a good game right now, being real patient, taking a lot of time off the clock so far in the third quarter, but nice patient play calling.
Now, I didn't get a chance to ask Coach Ross to elaborate on this, so I'll ask you. When I mentioned Coach Izzy to him, he got a big smile on his face, and he says, everybody loves Coach Izzy. What is it about Coach Izzy that everybody loves?
Man, his enthusiasm for the game and just life in general. I've never seen this dude in a bad mood, ever. He's always smiling, man, and that's infectious, man. It rubs off on people.
Well, especially at this level when you're coaching teenagers and trying to help them through life. 7 minutes to go here in the third quarter. O'Neal drops back to pass. A little screen out to the left side there and trying to keep his feet before finally getting tackled there. I think that's number 22 on the play. That's Devontae Dunmore from Kent Lake. And I think Dunmore might have felt that one a little bit as we wait to see if everybody gets up and if everyone's okay, we hope.
Nice big hit right there. Looks like we got a flag on the play. I wonder if it's a sideline warning. I believe they got one in the first half. Let's see what this is.
As the officials are talking amongst themselves right now. And again, this is one of those games where everybody wants to showcase their individuality. They want to show out for the coaches that are in the stands, but at the same time, as the game gets later and later, those guys are watching the scoreboard. They know what this. But you don't get that very often in an all-star game.
Sportsmanlike conduct.
And Jeff Sedaris even calling the player out by number there. So
it's going to get aggressive here in a little bit.
That's Austin Burns from Glacier Peak High School, a school that you know fairly well. You've gone to battle with them once or twice in your time.
Oh yeah, when they made the move to 4A, we had some great games, man. Coach Keck over there does a great job with those guys. They were favored to win state, I believe, this year. Lost in the first or second round of the playoffs, though. Good program.
Yeah, about week 6 or 7, they were undefeated and ranked number 1 in the state before they lost to Lake Stevens, who went on to eventually win the state championship. That's going to move the ball up to the 15-yard line. Or back to the 15-yard line, I should say. And we've got a helmet off this time. These are getting a little aggressive out there right now.
They're warmed up. They're ready to go. These guys are like, look, yes, we are here for a good cause, but this is still football. It's time to play.
Anuka Fatusi from TJ from Thomas Jefferson losing the helmet there. Had to get it back on his head and ready to go. I was going to ask you, too. We mentioned Coach Keck. I saw him down before the game. There was a coaches clinic here earlier this morning. I'm guessing, did you have to come here for that? Were you here bright and early? Or?
I was not. But I heard it was a great turnout. Lots of kids showed up, actually, for the showcase. It was a combine format. And, yeah, I heard it went real smoothly.
Bryce Coy from Bothell getting the carry there, got ahead for a few yards. Yeah, and that's the I don't know if that was something that was part of the 2018 event. I'm guessing it wasn't since everything kind of came together quickly, but showing just the expansion of this event and the magnitude of it. And it's not just the seniors anymore. Now that you've got the combine, you're incorporating the juniors into this event and getting them thinking about it, I would think, for next year at that point. And a lot of coaches who, like I said, I think Coach Keck was getting ready to take off, came here just for that event alone, just to be out here and helping these players. And kind of nice to see guys getting together in January and still working for a like-minded cause too.
Yeah, it's awesome. This has become a great event. You mentioned the showcase earlier. You got the game today. You got another one tonight. They might have to add a third game eventually.
Make it a two-dayer, huh? And that play was going nowhere there. Nice job by number 55, Ezekiel Sumalo from Kentwood, to clog up the middle there and bring up 4th down and 5. And with a 6-point lead deep in your own territory, you're certainly not going to go for it here. Now we've got Mr. Matthew Falk dropping back to punt again. You talked about it earlier. You were talking with him right before you came up here for the second half, and he's already done the rugby kick. Is this time do we see just a straight ahead?
Let me see it, kid. No, rugby kid.
Oh, and I think he might have gotten that one blocked. He did. Well, maybe he should have kind of walked right into that one, didn't he? And so the South team in great position. They're going to get the ball. If it's not in the red zone, it's going to be awfully close to it. Let's see where they end up spotting this one here.
Yeah, you get down here, 1st down, I'm taking a shot.
Right away.
Right away. I'm testing this defense. Because worst case, you want to walk out of here with at least 3. Put some pressure on them right now.
Well, Peyton Faker, who I think came in for one play on the last possession, back under center once again. He's got Davenport back there, and I think there's some confusion here as Farmer came running in at the last second, and in fact, we're going to get a timeout. One receiver was split out to the left. That's number 88, Austin Paulson from Enumclaw, another Enumclaw guy. Surprise, surprise. So you're thinking you just go for the end zone right off the bat here.
Yeah, you got to go. You got to go. And I'm taking my best receiver. Who's the kid going to Arizona?
Thomas, yeah, Dorian Thomas.
He's the biggest kid out there. I'm going to ISO him on the backside, go 3-by-1. I'll swing the back to the 3 receiver side to really take that safety over there as well. Boom, take a shot. But that's just me. I'm not calling the game.
It's on record right now, so we'll see if it happens right here. Let's see. Is number 7 in the ball game? Well,
he's attached.
He is. He's out there on the far right side there. And there are no receivers out beyond him there, so let's see if they go to him. They're going to go Davenport on this play.
Not a bad idea.
Lunges ahead for a couple of yards anyway, so he gets from the 16 to the 14. Still got time to call that play, though, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know if you were during the second quarter. So I think in the first quarter we saw him as a placeholder. We saw him as a punter. He caught a touchdown pass as a tight end. He tried a fake punt in the second quarter. He's done a little bit of everything today.
He's featured.
And that's going to go to Farmer, once again, the big bruising fullback who's been playing a lot of linebacker.
I got to talk to Coach Izzy, man. They throw that football 50 times a game in Federal Way. What's going on right now?
Nice job by number 85, Colin Campbell from Blanchette to get the tackle there, as well as Lane Haringa from Linden, a team that won the state championship this year. Well, and, that's the interesting thing, too, right? I mean, do you coach what you normally coach in the regular season, or do you look to coach based on the personnel, or for that matter, do you just try to kind of keep it simple for the kids?
That's the tough part. I think you keep it simple, and that's what we're seeing right now. That's the safe bet.
And there it is. He's going to look to the left, however. I thought maybe he was going to look to the right side, and fighting for some yardage there and getting down to the 1 or 2 yard line. That's Austin Paulson from Enumclaw. Almost got in.
Nice little play action there. You got a slant on the backside. Receiver does a great job not passing up the space right there, throttling down and making a play.
And unfortunately, Ryder Weiss, the cornerback out of Mount Si, number 81, is down on the play. 3:04 to go here. And we've seen him rolling around a little bit, which is always a good sign. You want to make sure that he's at least able to do that, and he's on his back right now. We'll take a quick timeout while he's doing that. We'll be right back here from Pop KEENEY Stadium. And we're back here at Pop KEENEY Stadium for the Cleats versus Cancer 2023 game. As Ryder Weiss being helped off the field there. He's got his arm around two of his teammates, still having a little trouble putting any weight on there. And we get a run to the left, and there's a touchdown. Garrett Farmer, the running back from Sumner High School, into the end zone, tying this game up at 13-13 with 2:56 to go here in the third quarter. And we are now a PAT away from the South retaking the lead. First time since they were ahead 7-3 back in the second quarter of action.
My buddy Dave Wyman, who was the color guy for the Seahawks, he said if you block a punt, 90% chance of you winning the game. I guess he looked up the stats. So we got a block punt here. Let's see if they can get it done.
It might be holding true to form here if they can take the lead. See if Dave Wyman, who also, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Dave's done a little high school coaching too, hasn't he, in the past?
Yeah, he was at Interlake.
Okay.
Interlake High School.
And that ball is up, and it is no good.
Oh, man.
Oh, let's see if this comes back to haunt them later on. 13-13 game. And, you know, we've got this special rule sheet up here. And the one thing I was looking for earlier and I don't see, I meant to ask about this. I don't know what the overtime situation is here for a game like this.
I know, right?
We got a game starting at 5 o'clock, too, so we will find out. But it's kind of interesting. I was thinking about this one day. Some of the folks you work with at 710, whether it's Wyman, Ray Roberts, some Moyer, some of the other guys, and even the late, great Dory Munson, you've all have high school coaching backgrounds with you, too. I mean, everybody that's been involved with the game likes to give back on this level when they can, don't they?
Yeah, there's nothing like it. I mean, you get a chance, because I think we've all been affected by our high school coaches. Like I talk to my high school coach till this day. I'll call him 2-3 times a year. And just the influence that you have, it's natural to want to give back and just be a part of these young men's lives.
Now, you had some great ones at Monroe High School. Do you still have a chance to keep in touch with some of those guys? Is there?
Oh, yeah. Chisholm is a kid I talk to.
That's Efton Chisholm, the receiver.
Third. Yeah, he's at Eastern Washington. Josh Jerome was at Eastern Washington. He hit the portal. Now he's going to Hawaii. So, yeah, there's about 10 to 12 kids that, still keep in touch. Monroe's a small place, so we run into each other eventually.
Yeah. Kind of fun, too. We had Jerome's brother, Stephen Coonley, on the radio last week on our show. He's a pretty good basketball player. Back to pass now, looking to throw it now, finally taking off running. That's, speaking of coaching players, one of your former players there, Brady McKeeler, once again.
Brady taking off there. Nice job tucking it, not forcing it down the field. Take what the defense gives you. Let's see how this drive goes, because the North was very methodical in their drive. Let's see if the South gets aggressive.
The North team being the ones with the football right now, down by, I want to say they were down by 1, but I keep forgetting that PAT was missed. Brand new ball game here with under 2:15 to go right now. As McKeer looks over to the sideline, getting his players positioned accordingly now. Again, these guys not used to playing with one another. He's got trips out to the right. And he's looking in that direction. Now he's looking over the middle. Nicely set up there. I believe that's Bryce Coy once again. Coy still fighting through guys and dives ahead forward past the 45 down to the 47, a 15-yard gain on the play.
Nice screen right there. We've seen a lot of screens. We've seen screens. We've seen jet sweeps. Getting creative on offense. Get your playmakers of football. That's honestly what you want to do. The faster you get it to them, the better.
For the casual fan out there, the screen play. I mean, I think fans tend to yell at their TVs, why don't you run that more? Why don't you do this more? That's not necessarily an easy play to execute either if you're not accustomed to it, is it?
No, you got to set it up. You got to get a defensive line that's extremely aggressive. The Seahawks struggle running screens.
Yes, they do. And another hand up, and this time this is the other Bothell running back, Hopoi. Coy and Hopoi, the two teammates in high school, kind of adding a nice little 1-2 punch to the North today. We've seen this time and time again where Coy will carry one play and then they'll go right to Hopoi the very next play. I'm guessing that's not the first time those two have been doing that throughout the course of a season.
They've probably been doing it since they were little dudes, man. They stay in the Bothell program. You come up together. That's what's great about football, too, man. You get to go out there and play with your guys.
And it's got to be fun for them, too. I'm sure back in November they were thinking, well, maybe this is the last time we're playing at Pop KEENEY. And here we are 2 months later, and they're back on their home turf again. Only instead of blue, it's pink now. And that ball is just thrown a little bit short, intended for number 11, Manzano, the wide receiver for Blanchette.
little speed out there. Ball gets away from Brady a little bit. Has some space. I'd come back to that.
So let's see what they call up here. 3rd and 7. Need to get to the 44-yard line of the South team to get a first down here. 48 seconds to go in the third quarter. And again, if you are tuning in, if you're listening, if you're anywhere near Bothell, and it's a holiday today, so traffic shouldn't be too bad, come on out for the 5 o'clock game. Good weather today. Great crowd. A lot of good interaction. DJ Ray playing the tunes in between the breaks. And there's a pass, and it's completed for right near the first down marker anyway. Let's see if they give it to him here.
Nice 10-yard out, tight spiral. He puts it on the line right there. First down, move the change.
And I think that was Troy Petts, too, the wide receiver who is the kicker that's going to Washington next year, who we've seen in action today, doing a little bit of everything. We mentioned it earlier also a state champion in the long jump, so definitely an athlete.
Do it all, kids. Play everything while you can, because if you're old like me, you just got to talk about it.
And we're getting good feedback from the fans that are tuning in. They're liking what they're hearing from you here. It's like you've done this once or twice. You might want to think about this as a profession.
Hey, I'm just jumping on your back, man. You carried me.
And they're going to call that on the offense. So with 9 seconds to go, they'll back them up a little bit. And what should be a great fourth quarter coming up. 15 more minutes of action, all tied up. North has the ball at the 50-yard line. You don't want to go anywhere. This one might come right down to the final, hopefully the final minutes, maybe the final play. Who knows? 13-13 tie. Bumper, we're going to get you to stick around, or you got to take off for a little bit?
I'm going to go check in with the boss lady, and if she has nothing for me, I'll be right back.
I hope you come right back. If not, thank you so much. Appreciate you as always, and hopefully we'll get you here in a few minutes.
Yep, see you in a bit.
We're going to go to commercial break. You're watching STSPN. Well, welcome back. We are getting ready to go into the fourth quarter here, all tied up 13-13. It's an all-star game, but it is a competition, and these guys are some of the best in the area, and you know they want to win this game. The North team with the football. 1st and 15 from the South 49-yard line. Brady McKellar back to pass, throws it over the middle, completes it, and down to the 41-yard line. As a player who we've yet to call out as a receiver anyway, or not with a catch. That's Ben Laframboise from Issaquah High School right over the middle. Sweet Caroline playing over the PA system right now. They're having a little fun with that. Nice thing about an all-star game like this is you don't have to be quite as strict on some of the things you normally would in terms of just playing music and having a little fun with it. Ooh, there we go. Seeing toughness on and off the field as a young man coming up. The bleachers right there just tripped right in front of us, but he's a good 25 carries per game kind of a guy. He got right back up and right to it. McKayer with a handoff this time right up the middle and fighting for yards and fighting for a first down. That's number 8, Dylan Rose from Mount Vernon. Rose needed to get to the 35. He was able to get beyond that mark, down to the 34, and that's going to move the chains. And it looks like we got Keith Ross coming back up. We weren't sure if we were going to get Bumpus or Ross. They're both keeping busy. Keith coming back up here. We might get him back on the headsets here in a minute. The longtime coach at Sumner High School. Here comes the Sweet Caroline chorus. Oh, the fans get it. They know what to do. Oh, that's right. We got to be careful of that on YouTube, don't we? I know. Do you need to mute us for a moment, or how are we doing? We'll try to talk over the music. We don't want to get copyright infringed, and we don't want to get bumped off the air there. And Keith Ross, the head coach of Sumner, back up here and joining us again. Coach, thanks for coming back up.
Yeah, I missed that the block punt. That was exciting.
Yeah, getting to see a little bit of everything here right now. 13-13 game, too. We're all tied up. McKeeler, the quarterback for Eastside Catholic, and that ball's dropped, and I wasn't sure what he was doing there for a moment, and we got a little extracurricular up there on the other side of the field, don't we? Oh, that's an official that was down.
He went down.
And is that Steve Landreau, the one that we were talking about earlier with the – oh, no, that was Sedaris, the white hat. I don't know if he got tangled up with one of the players or what just happened there, but –
well, I think he was looking at the fumble, and then he got ran into by the tackle in the end.
With the headphones on, we don't get to hear it all, but Jeff Sedaris, the official, who's also mic'd up, he's able to communicate penalties to the crowd, turned on his mic and he said, okay, thank you. So he must have heard some fans kind of cheering him on, and Ian Furness, I think, played off of it too and said something over the PA. 2nd and 21. Keeler. And that ball's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Number 38, Elijah Stafford McNutt from Auburn Mountain View making the play. And what do you dial up here on 3rd and 21 with 12 minutes to go in a tie game? You got to be thinking if you can even pick up half of it, you're kind of in no man's land at that point. You're probably in 4-down territory, correct?
Yes. I'd try to get half of it at least. Yeah, you're too long for a field goal. You're going to go for it on 4th, so try to get half now.
And we've got a whistle out there right now as
making a guy go off, bleeding.
And that was number 9 for the South, Bo Dodds, who we've talked about already. Looked like he was doing fine, probably, like you said, just a little bit of a cut of some sort, made him go off. And McKeeler looks back, throws down the sideline there, and that ball's completed. Again, trying to get a number there on the receiver. Is that 23? Okay. Liam Christensen from Mount Si.
It's a great play. They got more than half.
He definitely did. 3 yards short, so he picked up 18 on the play. So you're at the 26-yard line. You're tied up right now. You've got a chance to take the lead. Albeit a 43-yard field goal is never a guarantee. And to no surprise, really, I don't see the kicker out there right now, Coach.
No, they're going for it. In a Friday night game, you might kick if you got a good kicker, but right now they're going to let her. They're going to let her fly.
So again, 3 yards short of the first down. They need to get to the 23. McKeeler dropping back to pass, throws it out into the flat. The ball's completed. That's Menzano. And he got the first down. Big play there, and it looked like those two have been there before.
Yeah, that was a great play. I mean, I think it was 3rd and 22.
3rd and 21, yeah. They got 18 on the first, and then they got 4 on the 4th down play to get the chains moving there, and the clock now showing 10:45 to go. McKeeler back behind center. Hapoy, the Bothell running back in the backfield. He's going to get the handoff, trying to go up the middle there. Pushing his way forward, spinning a bit, and he's still carrying a few different players there, and he's still moving forward. We've got a little rugby scrum, and he's now inside the 10-yard line, and it's not over yet. Look at this. Hapoy, I almost gave the credit to his teammate, but that's Amani Hapoy, the Bothell running back, and give a lot of credit to the line, too, on that play.
Yeah, he was hit at the line of scrimmage and ended up getting 10 yards.
Big first down there inside the 10-yard line. Maybe the play of the game, perhaps, in terms of the relevance to the outcome of this game. North trying to retake the lead after the South came down and tied up the game in their last possession. Handoff off of the left side this time, and not a lot of room to run this time around as number 38 gets the carry. That's a Murray Mountain from Issaquah. I believe the first carry we've seen for him today. And as the All-Star coach, this is the point in the game where I'm sure you're probably also looking around and trying to figure out which guys haven't played yet, right? Or
yes, that's always, when you choose your roster, we choose enough kids to have enough at every position. But being an All-Star game, you're going to play everybody, and so a lot of times you try to get them in early. So if it's a game at the end of the game, you can put in your first teamers, but you want to make sure everybody plays. That's the whole purpose of the game.
Well, definitely, and it looks like we've got a few other guys who we haven't seen a whole lot out there right now, including number 18, Spencer Blumenthal. We've seen him a little bit, the wide receiver lined out to the left. And the quarterback's going to go out to the right, throws it on incomplete. Close play there. He had a couple of guys in the vicinity. And it looked like the intended receiver that time was number 14, D'Amico Bosley from Chief South High School. Brings up a 3rd and 8. And now you've got to be thinking field goal if you don't get this right. You got to get that lead.
Yeah, you got to be thinking, can we snap it and hold it and kick it and not get it blocked? But these games have been close the last couple of years. They come down to the fourth quarter. It'll be fun.
Oh, this is what you want right here. And I guess we didn't ask earlier, what is the overtime procedure? Do we know?
You know what? I don't even know. I don't know if we've tied before.
We may or may not find out here in a little bit. We might be 8 minutes and 48 seconds away from finding out. Nikhil Hurd throws over the middle. He's got a man off the fingertips. Bowsley looked like he had it there for a brief moment. A little bit high, but he got his hands on it, and I'm sure both of those gentlemen would like to have that play over again.
Absolutely. He was wide open.
Ugh, tough. As soon as he slanted over the middle there, you just saw him break wide into open space there, and they just couldn't quite connect. And now Matthew Falk, who's already got 2 field goals today. Kicker for the Archbishop Murphy Wildcats will try to give the North the lead once again. And the ball is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So with 8:39 to go here in the fourth quarter, the North retake the lead. South had a nice drive of their own last time around. We'll see if they can answer. We'll take a break right now and come back. You do not want to miss this exciting finish right here on STSPN. And welcome back. Do not adjust your screens. You didn't miss anything. We are not doing kickoffs right now. Ball is set at the 25-yard line. And the very first play on this possession is completed out to the left sideline. That's Austin Paulson from Enumclaw making the catch. Jay O'Neill, Federal A quarterback, still in the ball game right now. And you can kind of feel the tension in the air, Coach. You can tell that we're no longer in the first quarter, and this feels more like a football game, doesn't it?
Yeah, both sides want to win this game, so it's going to be a great 8 minutes.
Now, I saw a trophy online earlier, too. Where does that trophy go during the offseason?
I've kept all mine that I've won.
Oh, you actually get to – okay, as the head coach.
They're in my classroom, actually.
I don't blame you one bit. Hey, if you win the game.
There we go. Oh, there's Jindra.
Jindra makes the catch there, and you're right. And, down the field here, Dunmore, the receiver out of Kent Lake, he's kind of beside himself. He knows he was wide open, doesn't he?
Yeah, I have them stacked up on my back closet in my room, the winning trophies. So
now what's your record in this game? You've coached
think
4.
3-1.
You're 3-1, okay. Well, that should say something right there. The fact that you, as a coach, know the record in the game, you know it means something, right?
Yeah. Yes, we're competitive. It's all for fun, but, when it comes down to it, we all want to win.
So now here's a bigger question here. We'll ask in a second. Ooh, that ball gets away. Nice job by the running back there, and he might make something out of it. That's Emmett Otero. And if nothing else,
I think we got a personal foul right there.
Yeah, a couple of guys getting tied up. I will say this: they did end up doing a nice little handshake at the very end of the play. So I don't think anything was intended by it, but yeah, 2 guys getting up late on that one.
No, you have you have a little slot, Jindra from Sumner, and a big D tackle, so it probably didn't end well for Jindra.
Yeah, that was Yusuf, the defensive lineman from Lake Washington, and they did finally pick up the flag and wave it off. Now, if the North team wins, we've got co-coaches. We haven't really even mentioned Thomas Mosby yet from North Mason, who he's got a pretty storied background himself and an impressive resume. He and Charlie Canoon coaching together. I guess would Canoon get it just because of the simple fact that he's retiring and this is his final game?
I talked to him before the game, and he's like, this is the kind of games that I want to do now, just all-star games.
Nice.
So, yeah, he had a great career in our state, very well-respected coach. It was good to see him.
And we're going to get a fake for the sweep. Their little RPO there is keeping the ball. There is O'Neal, the quarterback. Gets some positive yardage there, and they keep moving the ball down the field as that clock continues to run. 6:39. Down to the 43-yard line.
And he's a great baseball player. I guess he's going to college to play baseball.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yeah.
That's O'Neal, the quarterback?
The Federal Way quarterback?
Okay.
Yes.
At Federal Way, they've certainly had their share of baseball success, so that's not a big surprise there. You had a chance to talk to Coach Canoon just about 20 minutes before kickoff, and you could just tell he was having a lot. He mentioned it. He said he's having a lot of fun this week and just seemed very relaxed and enjoying the moment, taking it in. Certainly after 31 years at Mount Si, he's getting ready to enjoy retirement there, and there's a slant that is completed. And that's number 18. That's Nathaniel Barnes, the wide receiver out of Kennedy Catholic. And they move the chains once more, now under 6 minutes to go in the game. And the big man, Dorian Thomas, back out on the field. He looks like a grown man out there compared to some of these other guys, doesn't he?
Absolutely. We played them in the first round of the playoffs this year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. He had a very successful first quarter on us. He's bigger and faster than we thought. He's quite an athlete.
So he's lined up at that tight end slot there on the right side. We'll see if they go in his direction. They do not, as quarterback keeper there for O'Neal, and he gets flung down from behind there. That's number 32, Uriah Givens from Garfield, making the tackle. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 11, so only one yard loss on the play, but nonetheless, the time is working against you right now. You definitely want to keep those chains moving. You do not want to have to give this ball back to the North without at least some sort of a score, especially as the North offense seems to be getting more comfortable and running their own share of time off the clock those last couple possessions. O'Neal in shotgun formation. Dropping back, looking to his right, throwing and incomplete. And once again, another receiver running down the sideline there is Micah Piper from Federal Way. Kind of broke loose there at the last second. However, I think that might have been after O'Neal had already thrown the football. Tell us a little bit about the coaches for the next game, the 5 o'clock game tonight. You've got Jay Dumas, a
great coach.
Great football player in his own right, too, back at Curtis and at Washington State back in the day.
Great player. That's been really fun the last couple years to get to meet him. A lot of Coach Sparks' former teammates show up for this game, and he's a guy that I probably would have never met if he didn't come over and coach this game. He's a great guy. Really enjoyed getting to know him.
And a throw right over the middle, and that ball's dropped as was intended for Barnes. Don't know that it was going to go very far to begin with, but nonetheless dropped, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 11. So you got Jay Dumas coaching the South team, and he coaches over at AC Davis in Yakima, and then Mark Keel from Central Kitsap coaching the North team.
He's a legendary coach, also been coaching for a long time, so it's nice to get some of these guys out for this game.
So certainly encourage folks to come on out here for that game at 5 o'clock tonight if you get a chance, and might be the last chance to watch football locally here for at least about half of a year anyway.
So it's 4th down. The scoreboard says 3rd, but the sidelines say 4th.
Oh, you're right. Okay, there
4th and 11.
They did change it on the scoreboard there. Let's see if the players realize it. Going across the middle and off the hands of the intended receiver, Micah Piper from Federal Way, and I think he wants that one back as he had the first down yardage, just needed to make the catch and perhaps was looking ahead as to what might be encountering him from behind on that play, and that's going to turn the ball over to the North.
Yeah, now the South's got to get a stop and get back on offense.
So 4:30 to go. South does have 2 timeouts remaining. Now, again, you've coached 4 of these games. As the coach, are you letting the clock and the score influence the way you're coaching right now, or are you still working on, okay, I want to get this guy into the game, or I want to let this guy have his chance to get his touches? You're laughing as I'm saying that. You're coaching to win right now.
Absolutely. I think every coach down there's coaching to win, and especially in this late in the game in this situation. Look at both sides look like they're.
So McKellar, the quarterback for Eastside Catholic, still in there. 2 receivers out to the left, 1 to the right. He's going to give off to
There's Farmer.
Rose. Rose carrying the pile a little bit there. And he's going to push forward. You're looking at some of those linemen in there right now. There's number 72, Eddie Stewart from Burlington Edison. Big number 68 is in there as well. Heath Ozeda from Mount Si. We mentioned his name earlier.
He's going to Oklahoma.
Ozeda is going to Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm pretty sure that's the kid that's going.
Boomer Sooner right there,
yeah.
Huh? Yeah, he's playing left tackle right now, and we see the right tackle over on the other side. That's Freitas from Mount Si. Boy, those are nice bookends for Mount Si, huh?
Oh, my gosh. I look out there and just think, oh, my, no wonder Mount Si was good.
And they're going to run this one right up the middle there as Rose dives forward for about 2 yards. And it looks like we got number 67 out there as well. That's Hassan Hussein from Kent Meridian. There's a few more players get shuffled into the game right now. Under 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, this is a big down. They're going to have to punt it if they don't get this, and the South will get another chance.
And if they do get it, it's going to be it's going to put the South in a real big bind here, as they'll be looking at best case scenario getting the ball with very little time left if they are able to come up with a stop. So this is a huge play, and North wants to talk about it a little bit here.
Yeah, they know if they can get this right now, they probably could run out the clock and win the game.
So Coach Canoon, Coach Painter. What's the decision right here? What are you thinking about?
Well, they're gonna have to throw it, and I would throw it to 23 from Mount Si. He's the one that caught the 18-yarder on the last 4th down.
So give him a shot and let him come away with another first down. That'd be Liam Christensen. So he is definitely in that huddle right now.
Yeah, they brought him in. So.
And last time that was a.
Ooh, he's getting them fired up. Look at Coach Painters. He's telling them right now, if we get this first down, we win the game.
He's trying to let them know that.
Absolutely.
We've had a chance to talk to Coach Painter after a playoff game a couple years ago on the radio broadcast we were doing. He is a guy that you'll run through a wall for.
Absolutely. One of the best coaches in the state, one of the most respected, super humble, great, helps out coaches all over the state, but super competitive.
Okay, so Christensen's out to the right, or left rather. Let's see if they go to him. No, they're going to throw down the field. Ball's completed. Nicely done there, and almost taken away there at the end, but that was Brendan Manzano from Bishop Blanchette with a huge catch. And I think he pump faked it to Christensen, and then Manzano ran right by him and got open on the play.
They pump faked to 23, and they jumped him, and it was kind of a bubble go.
So I think they were thinking the same thing you were, that Christensen might be the intended target, and in doing so, Manzano gets open. 2:16 to go on the clock right now. Clock is ticking. The South has 2 timeouts remaining.
There is a 2-minute warning this year.
And there is a 2-minute, okay.
They added that in this year.
That will help a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess maybe
Never have we had that in a high school game.
The North ran a play. I'm kind of surprised knowing that they would even do that.
So
but
look, it's supposed to be a 2-minute warning.
Nope, and there's the whistle.
But they called timeout. I think it's supposed to be a 2-minute warning, but.
Yep, they just moved it back to 2 minutes. Well, now I'm wondering if Bainter and Canoon and Mosby knew about that, because otherwise, why would you have run the play right before then, knowing that you want to try to take as much off the clock as you can?
Absolutely. They met before, and the head referee talked to them about they were going to add in a 2-minute warning. I don't know why they've done that. We've never had that in any other game.
Interesting.
But every year the rules kind of changed a little bit. One year we couldn't rush on punts, and they blocked a punt this year, and so the rules.
Although we were laughing about that a little bit, the punt was blocked on a rugby-style kick, so he almost kind of ran right into it in a way. But, yeah, we've got a rule sheet right here, and there are some interesting things on here that I'm sure a lot of these guys aren't used to. And in terms of rushing, I think you can't rush the kickers from the – at least for field goals and PATs from the ends.
But we did today.
So some of them, they're looking the other way.
And there's no blitzes, and that's a hard one because some coaches are like, well, he read it and just went, and other coaches are trying to,
Well, and if you're a kid that's used to pass rushing, that's got to be a little tough, doesn't it?
Yeah, but they want, the offenses are really handicapped with only 3 days of practice.
Sure.
So they want to give them a chance because I think if you blitz and the defenses would dominate.
Second down, 13 yards.
So they still have 2 timeouts, so we could get the South could get the ball back.
2 timeouts and a long second down coming up here, 2nd and 13. And they're going to hand it off to Coy, and there we go, right up the middle. He's got a first down and then some. Inside the red zone, he gets tackled right around the 18-yard line, approximately a 25-yard run. Let's see where they spot it. And really, that should pretty much be the ball game right there, unless the North wants to kind of play it as though they don't have to run it out and want to try to get another score on the board. We'll see what they do. That's marked on the 20, so a 23-yard run for Coy.
Yeah, that was a great play. That probably seals the victory for them.
And the South is going to use their second timeout.
We got Tony Davis over there. Coach Sampson from Rainier Beach. Some great coaches over there.
Yeah, and it's fun to not only look on the sidelines and see it. It's a coach's who's who, but even some of the folks that are walking around here a little bit and checking out the action.
Cooper Kupp's brother.
Oh, is that Cooper Kupp's brother right there? Okay.
He coaches linebackers at PLU now.
So he's down there, and Coach Bump mentioned that DJ Dallas is in the house somewhere, the Seahawks running back. That's what I hear. I've not had a DJ Dallas spotting yet or sighting, but apparently he's here checking out the game a little bit. And
I heard Richard Sherman went to the
I was going to say, yeah, for the dinner, right?
Outing, right?
Yeah. Just a great football community up here, and really it's a chance for the North and the South to come together too, in so many different regards, right? I mean, we don't always see that crossover during the season, not even in preseason for that matter.
No, we don't see most of these North teams. We don't see them, and once in a while in the playoffs a little bit, but I was talking to Charlie and Coach Painter. We've never played each other in 25 years.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, we've been playing Woodinville. It just seems to be we played Woodinville 3 times in the playoffs in the last 6-7 years, but never those guys.
Just the way that it lines up. And that was Hopoi with the last run there, so we'll get our last timeout called. Well, I know you and I actually broadcasted the game. I was doing sideline reporting. You got the best of Bump a few years ago. I think that might have been 2017, Sumner and Monroe down at.
Yeah, we had a couple years with Monroe. He did a great job up there.
Phenomenal job, absolutely.
Nobody even heard of them before, and all of a sudden they're at the playoffs. We had some great games. We played them twice at our field. One game we beat them fairly bad, and then one year it was 55-49.
That's right.
Something crazy.
I think the game that I did it was pouring down rain, and you guys got them pretty good that night. But you had some. You had some big guns on that team too, though.
Connor Weddington.
Yeah, Weddington wasn't
Ben
too bad.
Wilson and Trey Weed.
You had a few weapons.
Yeah, that was good games. Let's see what they're.
2nd and 3 right now, so that was a 7-yard gain for Hopoi. They're still running it, so give them credit. They're not just taking a knee. And that is Mountain, the running back. He gets stocked up at the line there.
Are they out of timeouts?
They are. They took their last timeout just a moment ago, so no way to stop the clock at this point. You see some of the congratulatory hugs and handshakes going on the north sideline right now.
They can take a knee now.
Yeah. Fun atmosphere. We're starting to see people line the field over there right now. So, Coach Ross, can we expect to maybe see you on the sideline next year? Is that the plan? Or are you just taking the year off to do this or have you thought about that, or is it too far out still?
For this game?
For this game,
Oh, I'll probably just stay as director of coaches.
You got your 4 in and you're good?
Look at them still trying to score.
Well, let's see who that is on the catch there. I don't think that's somebody. It's a 61. You don't see that very often.
Who is that?
Why not? 61 is
that Linden?
Campbell Nolte, the running back from Linden, yeah. part of that state championship team up there in the north end. Why not? You end your senior year as a state champ, and then you go into the All-Star game, and you get to make one of the last plays of the game. Why not? First down, by the way, so that's pretty much ball game here. Let's see if.
I wonder why he's 61.
Yeah, he's listed as a running back, so it's not as though they're having.
Going? Yeah, he's a fullback.
It's not like they're just having some fun with putting a 61 in there. He's a true running back, and there's a ball up the middle.
See, in a high school game now, you'd be taking a knee.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why it was.
In an All-Star game, they're going to try to score.
Wanted one more carry anyway. There we go. A nice little flip there. Is the couple of guys having a celebratory moment themselves. That was Manzano and Liam Christensen doing the front flips there. We've got guys doing snowmans on the field and everything else. And the North team gets the victory 16-13. A fun game, Coach. There's another flip. All these guys showing off their athleticism. A game that was never really, I think the biggest lead we had in the game was 13-7 at one point. Fun game to watch and a real evenly matched game. You don't always get that in All-Star games, but we certainly had one today.
Yeah, it was great. I wonder who they're going to pick as MVP.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. So they will.
The running back, you think?
Coy had a couple of those big runs, and he had that 19-yard touchdown earlier. I've got to think that he's certainly in the running. Will that be announced here in just a moment?
Yeah, they do it.
Okay, so we'll hang on for that.
Right on the field here.
Yeah, he had the touchdown to put them ahead earlier.
Did he have this long run down here too, or was that?
He had that long run that put the game away here a minute ago. So I've got to think that he probably solidified it right then and there when he did that.
Sometimes in an All-Star game, it's just one or two great plays that everyone noticed.
That's all it takes, right?
Yeah.
So let's see who that trophy's going to go here in just a minute. And you know what? Hey, kind of a nice story. And like I said, he might coach another All-Star game down the road, but Charlie Canoon, who just retired, just announced that recently. Perhaps the last game he gets to be a head coach at, gets to go away a winner, gets to take the victory at the very end there. That's kind of a nice storyline as well.
Yeah, he said he had a lot of fun. So it's nice to honor him. And, you know, is it 31 years?
Yeah, I think he was hired in April of 92, I think is what I read. So 92 was his first season. And now, what year are you at Sumner right now?
25.
I was going to say, so you're almost catching him, yeah.
Right? I don't know how long Bainter's been.
It's probably in the same vicinity, right? It's got to be.
I'm getting up there as one of the.
Well, I wonder who would be the longest tenured coach in the. I know up here in the north end we've got John Gradwell from Edmonds Woodaway, but he was 98, I think. So.
Yeah, so he's a couple years.
He's a few years behind you guys.
That was 2001, I think.
So they're going to get the trophy presentation here in a moment. We'll stick around for that. Don't forget at 5 o'clock. The second game of the doubleheader, we'll have a separate link up for that. You can go to STSPN to find that. You can certainly go to Cleats versus Cancer. They'll have some links, or go to social media and find it. But if you're watching this on YouTube, it's the same YouTube channel essentially.
And all those players are here lined up waiting to get in the locker rooms.
Oh, that's right. They're using the same locker rooms then.
Yeah, they'll wait till they get out quickly, but. So they just asked the coaches who they think should be the MVP. That's okay. Yeah, they always ask the head coach who they.
So we'll see if we get the trophy presentation. I think is that Coach Bumpus down there right now on the field?
Yes.
About to do the presentation.
Yes.
And this is the type of a thing right here that you'll keep with you the rest of your life, right? This team photo.
Yes, I have a picture of Coach Sparks and Sheldon Cross and I that I have in my classroom that, you know, is special because, you know, to honor Derek, you know, who started this for his daughter and then ends up getting cancer himself. And
you've got to think if Coach Sparks is looking down right now, he's
Absolutely.
feeling pretty good about what he's seeing. This has just become a magnificent event.
He would be super excited about this. Here comes the trophy, and then here comes the MVP trophies.
And as they're bringing that out too, and Coach, if you want to even help me out here, I haven't mentioned some of these names yet tonight. We've mentioned Jessica Sparks a few times. I keep hearing Angie's name a lot.
Angie's behind the scenes. She does all the computer work. She's amazing. Her son played in this years ago, and she's been with Jessica now. Tracy Skinner is a former player of mine's mother. They run this game, and they are sharp. Jessica has done a great job. She's right up there in the front now on the far left.
Oh, there she is, yep.
There's her daughter.
And I think both of her daughters are here
Yes,
today, right?
they are. Yeah, the one that Derek started the game for is taking a knee down in the blue.
Azalea.
Yeah. And I saw her today, and she said, "Look at my hair is growing back." 3 years she's been growing it.
It was a lot of fun
There's
talking.
Charlie
There's Charlie with the trophy right there.
Good
talking to Azalea before the game. She's such an energetic young lady.
She's fun. She was singing and dancing.
She's into jiu-jitsu now, so she was really excited about that. She was telling me all about it. There's the trophy being held up by the North team. Trophy presentation right now. The players are holding that up. They're going to announce the MVP right now. I'm thinking Bryce Coy. What do you think?
Me too. Yeah.
There he is, Bryce Coy.
Good for him. He had a great game. Great plays.
What a cool moment, too. Again, this is his home field, Bothell High School.
And he was a great player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's good for him to finish it off at his own.
First team all KeeneCo running back. And now the South MVP. Okay, your guy might have a shot at this. Well, Dorian Thomas might be up there, too. A sportsmanship award.
Could be the quarterback, too, from Federal Way. Who is it? 39? 38. Oh, the outside linebacker from Auburn Mountain View.
Well, I don't have a 38 on my roster, so we'll see what they're
I think.
Are we looking at the 5 o'clock roster?
Yeah.
There we go. We
Auburn Mountain View, outside linebacker.
I think you're right. Yep, Elijah Stafford McNutt from Auburn Mountain View.
Yeah, he had a great career at Auburn Mountain View. I've read about him for years, and it was good to see him.
I think Bump summed it up best. 16-13. That's the way it should be, right? Hard fought. And give a shout out to Ian Furness too up there doing the public address. Obviously, a radio personality on KGR. His son played in this game a couple years ago, right?
So it was great. That's when we got Ian, and now he's just stayed with it. So
nice.
Everyone that works this game doesn't go anywhere. It's been nice.
Yeah, you mentioned Tracy a minute ago. I'm looking at Joshua Madsen, Chris Napper, Ray Roberts is part of the behind the scenes. Rachel Sparwasser Ward, Thomas Mosby, and Brent McAdams, coach at PLU.
Yeah, he does a great job. They, because Derek's coach there.
Mm-hmm.
So PLU brings a group of players that does the chains and helps set up.
That's what they're. Okay, I saw them come into the building earlier, and I wasn't sure if they were here just to spectate or not. But
they always come to work. They do all they carry everything in and out. And that was what PLU was all. With Frosty was based on servant leadership, and so Brent's done a great job carrying that on. And those kids are just, they're up here all day long. They end up lifting that gator into the back of a truck at the end of the night. So thanks to all the PLU players and coaches that come and help. This is really fun. This is. I have these pictures, still.
These are the ones, kids posing with the trophy and everything else, and
it's fun.
Well, and I think what you were just talking about a minute ago with those PLU players coming out here, I think that speaks volumes to who Derek Sparks is.
Absolutely.
And was.
Great man. He used to meet me in Sumner for coffee. He just texted me and said, "Let's grab coffee," and he helped me so much and everything other than football.
Mm-hmm.
Just in life as a man. He was so well respected by all his peers, and he lived that life. As an example to all of us.
Oh, indeed. And I think Michael Bumpus said it best the other day. We had him on our radio show, and he mentioned that he's just an idea guy and always was coming up with different things and looking at.
And Jessica used to always say, Derek was an idea guy, but he just didn't have all the fine details. So that's what she's.
Well, that's where they were a team, right? And that's where she and her group are coming in here.
And it was interesting. One day I told Derek, I said, "Tell me about your high school career," because he went to 3 different schools in high school. Just kept moving up to the best private school. And ended up at Mater Dei.
I saw that, but I'd never had a chance to. So what was it?
So he was Texas or Arizona, and then he said he got recruited to play in California at another private school. He had a great junior year, and then Mater Dei came after him. So he's like, "Of course I went there." And I'm like, I said, "D. Sparks, you played at 3 different high schools." He's like, "Yes, I did."
Yeah, and you did well at all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And well enough to.
And that Mater Dei coach that just retired was his coach.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so,
I guess that makes sense. He was there for a long time.
And, his story about why he came to WSU was amazing because he was recruited by everybody down there, UCLA, USC, and he just wanted to get out of the city. And Mike Price was the one that recruited him, and he just said he loved Mike Price and he loved Pullman, you know, and he met Jessica there when she was a freshman, and so that's why he stayed here and had his family here. It's really cool.
Great story, and again, it's just what his legacy lives on through this game and through his family, really, and so many others. And you start to look at the coaching tree and the impact that he's had on coaches like yourself who have had your own success. And just like I said, I can't say enough of what it's meant to be a part of this, just in that sense, and knowing, and we've had him on our radio show a couple times over the last few years when he was promoting this very game, and just you just got a sense over the phone the enthusiasm that he had for everything that he does and everything that he was a part of. And it's magnificent to see this continuing on and building. And like we were joking with Coach Bumpus during the third quarter, who knows, maybe there'll be a third game eventually. I don't know. Jessica's rolling her eyes. I'm sure if she's hearing that. But
he was talking about going to other states, and we were like, whoa, we cannot do that.
Right.
You know, we can't travel around. But, yeah, Derek was a big dreamer, and he had big visions. And he wanted to make it a national game and maybe in some other states. And, I'm glad it's just settled down into 2 games here. I don't know if we could do 3 games in one day.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we could, Jessica would try to do it.
No, absolutely.
I mean, just look at this afterwards. This is, all the families, their kids get to play in one more game.
And you're looking down here on the field right now, and you're seeing parents and siblings down there with the players taking pictures. You're seeing guys from opposite teams take pictures with one another. It's a really cool spectacle right now. And again, if you're out there listening right now, there's another game at 5 o'clock. We certainly encourage you to come out here. It's only $10 to come in. The funds go towards the foundation for fighting cancer and raising awareness for cancer. Again, this is something that's very near and dear to the Sparks family, as well as so many others that are involved with this game. So we certainly want to encourage you to get out here. And again, Cleats versus cancer.com. It's Cleats with the VS, cancer.com. Go to the website. If you're not able to make it out here, at least do your part to make a donation and to help support a very worthy cause. Coach Keith Ross, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for doing this for us today.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it, and thank you for all that you do for this event. And I guess I should ask you while I got you for one last time here, how's Sumner looking for next year?
Oh, we'll be all right.
Yeah?
We're getting after it already again, and, the culture there is so great. The kids are already, been working hard since our loss, and, we'll be ready to go.
Fighting the good fight indeed. Yeah. So for everybody involved here, and again, before Coach goes here, I got to grab my phone here because I don't want him to run away. I got to make sure we get a photo that we can put up here later. Appreciate Coach Ross as well as Coach Michael Bumpus for coming up and joining us today, and for Todd Elvick, Sarah Elvick, all the folks back in the truck, Dan the cameraman, and all the others. We appreciate you for listening. Again, final score, the North team beats the South 16-13. And do not forget, tune back in 5 o'clock. Amp Harrell will have the play-by-play action tonight as we'll get yet another North and South team, 2 entirely different teams. 2 more groups of young people looking to leave their own marks on this field tonight. It should be fun. So again, thank you for listening. You've been watching STSPN.